What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, June 29th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. A disappointing day. I just wasn't able to, have confidence with yesterday's MLB card, and it was ugly. 1-3 down 2.25 units. Very disappointing. I've already made 4 bets on today's MLB card. I would like to fire more. I love afternoon MLB action, but things just didn't seem to correlate the way I wanted them to, and I was a little hesitant. But it was not a great way to start off the week, so I hope we are all ready to attack this board right now. We have Nolly Knows joining us here in a couple minutes. Shout out to all the cappers joining us in the chat. Viper NB in the house says, what up, fam? Dog days of summer is a grind. Detroit money line, Rays money line, Mets money line, and Jays first 5 minus a half for Viper. I'm with you on that Jays first 5 minus a half, and I'm on the Tigers first 5 plus a half at plus 105. But I was unsure if I was being kind of coaxed into this move. Alex Wood has had 2 terrible road starts that were on the heels of 2 really nice home starts. Ronny Garcia's been good, but I kept saying, am I being like, is this a fucking trap, But I did go with you on that. I did roll with you. Oh, well, I'm on the first 5 plus a half. First 5 was plus 175. First 5 plus a half was plus 105. And although the public has been betting this over, right? It's so 23% of tickets are on the under and 49% of cash is on the under, and it's the total of 8, which sort of implies low volatility. So I took the plus a half in that situation. Fap win, and his 55-gallon vat of lube is on Miami first to score and the Cubs money line. Right there for Fap win. Mike Wilkerson says over in the Giants game. It's interesting that the big bets have come in on the under in it. I really think we got to watch judging Alex Wood from what he did in these 2 last road starts. But Ronny Garcia's looked very good on the road. The start before this one was against Arizona. He looked very good. And then 2 starts before that was at Yankee Stadium, and he looked good. William Oppenheimer in the house. Great to see you, William. Razor sharp coming off a winning day. Love to see that. There's Jedi for life in the house. Going back to the well with Houston first 5 minus a half and Houston minus 1. THC is Rizza in the house. Over 7.5 Mets over 7.5 in the Mets game, and Rangers first 5 minus a half. Chairman Kim ready to get to work. There's Jay Peasy in the house. Professor Chris. AJ down 30 units for the month. That's rough. That's not good. Says, think I should hang it up till the NFL. It's a long time to wait to hang it up, but it might be good just to take a step back at that point. That's a very tough month you are in the middle of. And it's always tricky here as we lead into All-Star break. You may want to just put down your action and not bet it, and then see how it fares. And then once it sort of starts turning around, then start betting it. There's a lot of different options for you, AJ. I'm sorry to hear that it's been a tough month. Art Hayes ready to go. There is Diesel. Moose Money. Danny Lopez. Ick Schnizzle in the house. Fresh off a big score at Thistle Downs last Saturday. The weather looked beautiful down there. There's Serious Business ready to get to work. Red Girl in the house. And JP's been saying it, and he has been. Says Jays own Boston. Every series, Sox have managed to eke out 1 win. Stay off for me. Well, look, I don't doubt that the Red Sox can win today. The Jays bullpen's terrible, so I don't doubt that at all. But will they win it here? And this is what Dave Wedling says. It says it's just a down cycle right now. Wait it out, then jump back in. He's cut his bets 80% while going through this shit period. That's our guy, Dave. There's Dan Bonner, 4 for 4 on home run bets yesterday. Did not parlay them. It happens. But great job. Walla Walla Dose. Look at that year. Moose Money picked up his 300th victory of the season. Walla Walla Dose says, what is St. Louis' first 5 comeback last night? That would have destroyed me had I moved on the Marlins. But I did not. Your polluted gut got me off the first 5. Yes, it was a look. The Astros took care of business, but still, my ROI is negative on those spots. So I'm not angry. I'm not angry. There's Razor James S. ready to get to work. Von Polo in the house. Wanted to get on that 420 show. Yeah, man. I'll help that. I'll help make that happen. North Henderson stayed off 3 plays yesterday because of info from the show. Cards win, Pittsburgh loss, Philly loss. Oh, well, that helped then. Trenton Claxton is on Yankees money line and Brew Crew money line. And Houston money line is Lucas Ryan. Great to see all of you guys. All right. Let's get to work. Dommy Gunn will be making his debut here, season debut. He's been on the show many times. Season debut here in MLB tomorrow. D. Jenkins. And Tom Reed says Mets still haven't lost 3 in a row. Yes, I know there is sharp money on the Mets today. And we'll have to talk about all of that. Mark Schillingberg ready to go. There is Slatsy. Says finding success lowering volume on MLB. But he's on the Jays first 5 -1/2 as well. Says he's always thought Pivetta is overrated. I don't. And we made a lot of money on Pivetta last year when he turned the season around. He could be good. And there is our guy Sean Mosler in the house. And Lee Davis said that's like the 3rd Tuesday in a row that he's being pumped. I don't like hearing that. We can get that changed. Let's get these afternoon baseball winners in right now. Slatsy says, can't wait to hear takes on CFL this week. Did you notice how long it took Bet365 to put out the lines in CFL? Why do you think that is? Because we've been making so much money off of them, and everybody has. That's why everybody's been cashing in CFL, and they're a little panicky, and I love seeing it. All right, and top sets on the Giants, Marlins, and Sox unders. Jeffrey Moore saying someone talked me off a big bet on Astros first 5 under 4.5. Well, let's get right to work. Great to see all of you guys. Jason M. in the house joining us from Australia, and Rodney Barton ready to get to work. All right, let's go right now. And I'm very excited to hammer this MLB card with your next guest. He was with us last Wednesday. It was his first tough day of the season here on the show, and there will be them. They'll come once in a while. But overall, he's 9-7. 56.3% plus 1.57 units. ROI plus 9.81%. Average line minus 105. And it is a bounce back Wednesday for our next guest coming to us from Long Beach, California. Please welcome to the show, Nolly Knows in the house. Nolly, how are you, my man?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. Yeah, took it on the chin last time out. So hopefully turn things around right here today. And shout out to the chat. Thanks for having me here once again.
Oh, it's my pleasure and our pleasure. Yes, Razor Sharp Picks rocking the Cash It shirt here. Going to save the Cash It shirt and Cash It hat combo for your show on Friday night. But let's get Dan Bonner's action in as well. Also, I've messed up my YouTube somehow. I don't know what it's going to take me. It was the reason why I was a couple minutes late today. I was trying to fix it. So I'm not going to be able to write in the chat, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind. If I'm not answering you by writing, which is something I usually do, it's annoying. Dan Bonner, Kyle Farmer over 1.5 bases at plus 150. Javier Baez over 1.5 bases at plus 135. Bo Bichette over 1.5 bases at plus 100. And Stanton over 1.5 bases at plus 100. JPZ says Mets haven't lost 3 in a row only because their last Astros series was only 2 games. All right. Let's get to work. Great to see you. Mally Mal says Astros about to win 10 in a row, says Mally Mal. Nasty Nate's on the first 5 Pirates under. Let's go. Right now, Nolly Knows afternoon action. Let's get right to work, my friend. We start at 12:10 p.m. Eastern. The Milwaukee Brewers, 43-33, 24-18 on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays, 40-33, 25-16 at home. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Eric Lauer has looked susceptible over 3 straight starts. Is he dealing with arm fatigue? What's going on with Eric Lauer? But I can understand if somebody wants to fade him. It's been 3 starts where he struggled. He's now 6-3 with a 3.89 ERA, 1.19 whip, 74 innings, 77 Ks, 23 walks, and 16 home runs. There's Jimmy Gomez ready to get to work. Sean Mosler's actions in Astros first 5 in full game. Rangers first 5 in full game, and Jays first 5 minus a half. In Eric Lauer's last start, 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, 1 walk in a 5-4 loss at home versus the Cardinals. Jalen Beeks is coming off 2 bad appearances himself. He still has really nice numbers on the year. 2.59 ERA, 1.05 whip, 37 Ks and 31 a third. His last appearance was June 25th. He only made it through 1 2/3, allowed 2 hits and 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-5 win at home over the Pirates. 4 days before that, he had a start. So this is a bullpen day, as we know, for the Rays, as Beeks is just a reliever for this squad. And he got touched up at home against the Yankees. 1 2/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks. Brewers are hitting 224, 681 OPS versus lefties. Rays are hitting 257, 711 OPS versus lefties. They can't hit righties, but have a little bit of skill against lefties. Both bullpens are very, very good. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. This game pops off here in 55 minutes. We have a 5-cent move to the Brewers and a 10-cent move to the under. And when we look at the cash flow in this one, where is it? Here we go. There is a perceived line value on a few spots today. And there's slight line value on the Brewers, according to Sports Insights. 66% of the tickets are on the Rays and 89% of cash is on the Rays. So big bets coming in on Jalen Beeks and the Rays, believing that Lauer something's wrong with them. And I get that belief. That makes sense to me. 39% of tickets on the under and 68% of cash on the under, which tells me that not everybody believes he's going to get touched. Puzzler has Jeffrey Springs confirmed as the primary for Tampa Bay. Take it away. And Dave Redling saying, is Springs pitching or not? He's not starting, but he is pitching. Take it away here. Nolly Knows, Brewers, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it right there. The guy that's coming in the second, a big part of the cap-in, and also another lefty. You know, that's a big part of my cap-in in this game. You look at the Brewers over the last 30 days versus left-handed pitchers. They're 22nd in batting average and 19th in weighted runs created plus. And on the other side, quite the opposite. Over the last 30 days, they're 9th in weighted runs created plus and 8th in batting average. So the Rays have been hitting the lefties a lot more, and especially He-Man Choi. He's hitting 520 with the 680 slugging against lefties, going 25 of 52. So watch out for him. Maybe use him in a prop somewhere. But they're hitting lefties significantly better. And Eric Lauer, over the last 5 starts, he's got a 6.59 ERA, giving up 9 home runs and a 2.78 batting average against. On the road, he's almost 3 runs worse at a 5.14 ERA. So I think this is a tough spot for him. I like the fact that Springs is going to be coming up behind him. And I like the Rays here. I like the value here with the Rays, trying to isolate that in the first 5 because 2 good bullpens. So I took a shot with the Rays first 5.
I get that. First off, huge shout out to Ick Schnizzle. Ohio's finest. Says, bless him, don't stress him. Throws out a $19.99 dono to Pub Sports Radio. Says, when I eat, the fam eats. Much love, fam. Let's get the dono train started. Much love, Ick Schnizzle. You are a great man and a kind man. And thank you for sharing some of your glory with us, my man. I know you work very hard for it. So you have no concern in that first inning and a half for Beeks?
No, if you look at his opening, he's been able to do it well. It was one time that he got touched up. The other 2 times he managed to fare really well, and especially against this lineup, I'd expect him to start it off well.
And yes, guys, it's a bullpen day, so don't get too caught up or confused with the situation. Beeks will be in for an inning or 2, and then Springs will be in. Lee Davis thinking about the Rays team total over at 3.5 here. It clearly looks like something's wrong with Lauer. We're seeing the Rays finally show offense against lefties. And their bullpen is being lights out. With the way their bullpen's pitching, I know what I was trying to do was isolate, because I really believed we were going to get a nice start yesterday off of the DL. And here for the Brewers, I really, really had so much confidence in Woodruff, and he looked dynamite. Again, that was sort of, I know that he had the hand numbness. I forget what that issue is called, but he had the hand numbness. But he was on the IL for an ankle injury. And that's one of Loshak's longstanding beliefs is these stud pitchers who are on the IL for something that isn't arm-related can come off the IL like a beast. Domi Gun reaches his Lauer blows. Say what, my man?
I said that's a great point, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I watch Pete, do a lot, and I believe in Woodruff too, and it's a vividness issue, but probably should have gone full game. Razor says Baffert gave him some juice to pitch yesterday. Puzzler says Lauer gave up 8 homers, and I get it. I get why you're moving on the Rays first 5, and I think I want to come along again. This game pops off in 50 minutes. Let's do some line shopping. Is this something you're going to make official here for the show?
Yeah, definitely. That's a bet for me today.
I'm going to come along. I'm going to join you. This makes sense to me. I probably should have fired on it already, but let's do some line shopping here for Nolly. He's looking for the Rays first 5, and let's see what we're getting at. So they're minus 124 full game, minus 137 first half. Are you going to go on the minus half at plus 102, or you want the money line?
No, money line.
Money line. Let's just quickly see if we can get anything better for Nolly here. Moving to Circa, and then I will figure it. Let's just see what I would have to pay if I wanted to move on this right now. All right, Nolly getting his card started right away with the minus 130 here. So that's 5 cents better at Bet365. That's not a bad price. I think I should move on that as well. All right, let's just see what Circa is offering quickly on baseball. And they are offering minus 129 on the full game. So their first 5 is probably, minus 139. Wow, Bet365 giving the best number, which is a rarity. Nolly Knows is in. And he's on the Rays first 5 at minus 130. James Little wondering if anybody's on this WNBA game that pops off in 39 minutes. I'm not. Teece is not doing a best bet for that game. Jeffrey Moore, where did you find that minus 125? Oh, yeah, but could you let us know what book so that we could make that official for Nolly? And there's DJ Big Boss in the house. Boss, it is great to see you. Know that you are beloved here in Lopag Nation. All right, let's get back to work here. I'm going to tail. I'm going to get in here at some point while we are working. Billy Friedrich says minus 133 at Bookmaker at Bet Fast Action. I don't know if we can count that book. I don't think if Pete wouldn't count it, I don't know if we could. Bet Fast Action. Bet Fast Action.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the rules here. I don't know.
I don't know. I always think if Pete would count it. That's my way of doing it. Would Lochak count that book? Bet Fast Action? I don't know. Let's move on. We are in Nolly Knows, Rays first 5 minus 130, and I would like to come in as well. All right, let's move on to 1:05 p.m. Eastern. And spreadsheet play today coming in from our Ron Crawford. Thank you, Ron. Oh, and Trenton Claxton. And you guys, we have a bunch of great WNBA cappers. Trenton Claxton has been one of them since the beginning. He's always crushed WNBA. So he's on the first half over 83. We just copy and paste Ron Crawford's Padres action here. Spreadsheet play of the day is in. And wow, that's wild. So, of course, Ron Crawford with confidence as a winning capper. But this is he's going up against the spot that Sports Insights is indicating full line value for the Diamondbacks, Madison Bumgarner. But I was afraid to move on Madison Bumgarner. I look forward to talking that one out. And Ick Schnizzle, our guy. What a guy says, can you send out the link to the buy me a beer thing for the Atlantic City trip? Says, got a couple minutes before I got to get back to the grind. Respect, Ick Schnizzle. Oh, and Ron Crawford on WNBA as well. Sun +3. Okay. So we are on the board. Let's move on to game 2, 1:05 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 25-51, 17-23 on the road at New York Yankees 55-20, 33-9 at home. It's amazing that only 3 runs were scored, but I almost lost that first 3 under 2.5 yesterday. I knew Montas would have a good start. I shouldn't say I knew. I thought Montas would have a good start, but he didn't have a very good first couple innings. But I did catch the first 3 under 2.5 here. Yesterday, that was my lone win. By the way, this is my day yesterday. Athletics first 3 plus 140 was a loss. Phillies first 5 minus 120 a loss. Oakland, New York first 3 under 2.5 was a win. And Brewers first 5 minus 105 was a loss, although they did cash full game. We're at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Let's start with the weather here in New York. We have 81 Fahrenheit, 7.5 miles per hour out to left center. And it goes up throughout the afternoon. Goes up to 9.4 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history in Yankees, A's, and a 10-cent move to the Yankees. That's all, 280 to 290. And the total has gone back and forth 5 cents a piece, but it's right where it started, 8.5 minus 120 to the under. And then let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. They're giving slight line value to the Oakland A's. 11,449 tickets are in. 11% of the tickets are on the A's, but 20% of the cash. Interesting. 58% of tickets to the over. 65% of cash is on that over. Cole Irvin coming off an okay start at the Royals. 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. 2 of them were homers. 4 Ks, 2 walks, and 3-1 loss at the Royals. 3.29 ERA, 1.24 whip. He's being bet on at home. Going up against Jameson Taillon, who's coming off a tough start, a rare tough start at home versus the Astros. 5 2/3, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, no walks. 3.19 ERA, 1.11 whip on the year. Just 9 walks on the season in 79 innings, 63 Ks and 9 walks. The A's are hitting 207, 585 OPS versus righties. Yankees 234, 757 OPS versus lefties. And the Yankees bullpen being stellar all season, 2.78 ERA, 1.12 whip, whereas the A's bullpen's been atrocious, 4.54 ERA, 1.45 whip. Take it away, Nolly Knows. Second game on the card, afternoon action, off in a little over an hour and a half. A's, Yankees.
Yeah, you mentioned it with Irvin. Big difference when he's on the road as opposed to at home. At home, 1.57 ERA as opposed on the road. 5.03, almost a 300 batting average against. So that's going to be a tough task going to this little league ballpark in the New York with the Yankees. Taillon, it was a tough outing against a tough team. This is quite a different team in the A's. Could be a get right spot for him. You look at the A's over the last 30 days, or 30th in batting average, runs, weighted runs created plus, and weighted on base percentage, 29th in isolated power. So a team that really hasn't been able to produce all year long. You saw it yesterday with Montas. I've been betting a lot of Montas unders because a really basic strategy a team can't hit, and Montas been pitching very well. He's been catching some unlucky breaks here and there, but he's pitched overall well in the season. So that's a spot for me every time because plain and simple, this team can't hit. And I'd expect Taillon to be able to produce, and especially because the great defense that's behind him, that's something that's overlooked with this Yankees team, the team that pretty much has it all this year, a team that really bottom 10 in defense this year, top 8 in defense. I think they're 8th overall in unearned runs overall on the year. And when I look at their numbers against lefties, you look at their overall batting average, they don't really get on base too much like in that sense, but their power numbers are good and their isolated power is good. So overall, they create runs against the lefties, and Cole Irvin can get hit hard, especially on the road. He just doesn't have overall good advanced numbers. I don't like the way this sets up. It's a steep price. Maybe one way to look would be A's first 5 team total under 1.5. Something that I thought about taking. I did end up taking, but overall, I'm off the game.
Yeah, I get it. And I said that there'd only been a 10-cent move here, unless the move just happened or this isn't updating. It says it's been updating, but the Yankees have moved to minus 310. Maybe I'm not going to be able to trust this. I can work around it if this site isn't updating the way I need it to. Big shout out to Ulysses Hayes in the house. Great to see you. And Craig Schrader. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose that $400 bet on the White Sox division that I made like a month ago, 3 weeks ago. Should have waited. But I'm hoping the Southsiders take care of business for me. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Everything is sort of pointing to Taillon having a bounce back spot, but the price is just too expensive. in the end. When it comes all down to it, it's just too expensive.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I try to isolate it so the team total would be a good strategy, but just didn't make my card today.
Huh. Yeah. Ulysses not touching this game. I mean, I don't want to touch it, but the more we talk about it, I got to think that Tyon bounces back here. Okay. Let's move on here. I'm going to put a question mark there if I want anything to do with them. All right. Let's move on to 1:05 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates at Washington Nationals. I found this game very interesting because I would like to back Paolo Espino, but I was unable to. There's been a 10-cent move towards Espino in the Nationals, but the market or the big bets are all over the Pittsburgh Pirates here. They are giving slight line value towards. Wow, it's changed. It's come back. Holy. So the last hour and a half or 2 hours or so has all been Nationals money. Interesting. So I gave the numbers out in the chat that I'm in. So I would say 90 minutes ago, maybe a little less, over an hour ago, but less than 90 minutes ago, there were 47% of the tickets were on the Pittsburgh Pirates and 71% of the cash. That's changed. Big bets have come in on the Nationals. So now there's 48% of tickets on the Pirates and 41% of the cash. That is very, very interesting. Then we'll take a look at the total side of things. It opened up at 9 at 8:13 in the morning, went to 9.5. And there's been a 5-cent move to the further 9.5 here a second ago. Eric Jones on the Nats money line and the under 9. Mally Mal thinking the Nats money line is the play here. And Jared TG says if the Yanks are minus 300, doesn't Jose have to bet against them? We will see when Jose comes in. We will see. Lee Davis and Keller with a 2.82 ERA in June. Ulysses liking Washington money line. El Dorado custodian. My goodness. Wow. $100 dono from El Dorado custodian. He gave us $100 yesterday as well. Man, that means a ton to us. And thank you. Thank you so much. God, it's a lot of cake, man. And I know you work so hard for it. What a guy. I love hearing that you're cashing, but I also, the whole goal is for your pockets to get fatter and fatter. And but that means a ton to us. El Dorado custodian. Wow. Very, very, very incredible gesture to us and to everybody at Pub Sports Radio. And we thank you enormously. El Dorado custodian, back-to-back $100 donos for Pub Sports Radio. What a guy. Mitch Keller, Paolo Espino. So Espino, 35-year-old who just gets soft contact. Why he didn't start the season as a starter, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Maybe there was an injury or something going on. Last start, he went 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 2-1 win at Texas. A 2.21 ERA, 1.11 whip. And I wouldn't be shocked if both pitchers looked okay here. Mitch Keller's last start, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk, and a 4-3 extra inning loss at Tampa. The fact that it went from 9 to 9.5 surprised me. The Pirates are hitting just 220, 653 OPS versus righties, while the Nats are 251, 701 OPS, and both bullpens are poor. I'm very curious to hear what Nolly Knows has to say about this spot. Pirates, Nationals, and a market move initially to the Pirates and now back to the Nats, and the market move towards the over. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, Paolo Espino, interesting guy. You talk about very crafty, a guy that tops out about 88 miles an hour. But overall in the year, 2.21 ERA, like you mentioned, coming out of the bullpen a lot. As a starter, though, has continued to pitch well. Martinez talks about him, how he's so flexible and consistent. No matter what role you put him in, he continues to produce. He talked about how he has to come in, out, up and around, do all kinds of stuff with his pitches, and that's just how he has to go about it. He's crafty, and he's been doing it, and he's been having a lot of success doing it against the Pittsburgh team now that really hasn't been hitting that well over the last 30 days. 28th in batting average, they're 30th in K rate. 27th in weighted runs created plus. And so a lot of difficulties for the Pittsburgh Pirates over the course of the year and over the last 30 days. So I'd expect them to have a solid start, especially early on against this team. I think when you see that number inflate, you've seen it inflate full game more because of the pins. Two of the bottom 10 pins in the game, over a 4 ERA over the last 30 days. And so I think that's the reason for that, because I don't see either team really hitting over the last 30 days. Nationals are 24th in runs and 21st in weighted runs created plus. And here they go against Mitch Keller, a guy that's incorporated the sinker and pitched a lot better. You look at it at the beginning of the season, his FIP was at a 4.72, giving up a 284 batting average. But since May 31st, he's got a 3.46 FIP and a 208 batting average against. So the guy's been pitching a lot better. Last time out, gave up 3 earned runs against Tampa Bay. But to me, I thought 2 of them could have been unearned. There's a ball that easily could have been a double play. But when it comes to scoring, a double play is never guaranteed. So if he gets an out, it won't be an error. But to me, that was an error all day. And even the ball that was hit, I thought should have got caught. But anyways, I think Mitch Keller's been pitching pretty well, and I'd expect him to have a good start. I like the 5 that they're hanging there, so I bet I got first 5 under 5.
I completely get it. I completely get why you would. I did get back into I did remember my password finally, so I can comment back. There's been so many great things said here in the Twitter chat, and I just want to be able to write back to everybody. It means a ton. Danzo said I could probably retire with the money I made on the Rockies last couple of days. God, I love the way Danzo gambles. Okay, back to what our guy Nolly is saying. 8.1 miles per hour out to center, between 8.1 and 8.4 during the game. But I completely understand why you want this first 5 under. And do you think that this... Look at that. 78% of tickets are on the under and 66% of cash. So 22% of tickets, 34% cash on the over. Do you think that the over money is coming in due to the weakness of the bullpens, not the weakness of the starters?
I mean, I guess overall, I guess the pitchers can get hit. Maybe some people expect a little bit of regression coming from Espino, but I think that's more so for the bullpens. You know, the bullpen's really been getting hit hard over the last month, so I think it's more so on that. Got some hot weather, wind blowing out slightly, so I can understand the full game, but yeah, not for me.
I can understand you making this move. I want in as well. Oh, I must be on the wrong game. Sorry. So we found the 5 at minus 110 over at Pinnacle. Let's see what we can get you over here at Circa. The first 5 total. Oh, wow. You're getting a plus money on the under. So sorry, it's minus 110 to the under. Wow, why would this be? So it's minus 104 at Pinnacle. It's plus 100 at Circa. So Nolly coming in here. First 5, under 5, plus 100. Don Max says Paulo, a career 4.5 ERA guy who hasn't changed a thing. Not fooling me, even if he does have an okay day. That's not, at least the money we were making off of him last year, was real cash. He was getting soft contact, and he hadn't had an opportunity to stretch out really as a starter for a while there with the Nets. And who was he? Look at that starting 5 that they had. It was a tough nut to crack for Espino. I don't think of him as, a journeyman bum. Let's just go over what he did last year. So he didn't make the show until last year, really. I mean, he'd only started 3 games in his entire career until last year. And he had a 4.27 ERA there. He's a career 4.04 ERA. I thought he looked really good last year on a terrible baseball team. 5-5, 4.27 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. It's just a guy who just didn't break into the league. I get it. Don Max says 89% medium to hard contact on the year for Espino. Occupancy says Espino is fooling me, and he's going to be on them first 5 in full game. And I hear what you're saying, Don Mac, and it's it's important to have these takes and work together, and it doesn't matter if we don't all agree. It's very important. I'm thinking about coming with you here. The first 5 under 5 at plus 100 for Nolly Knows. There's Ski Profit in the house. Great to see you, Ski. All right, let's move on to 1:10 p.m. Eastern. That's next up for us. Nolly has moved on 2 of the first 3 games. And Tommy Gunn says, don't forget we're talking about him pitching against the Pirates, not the Astros. All right, 1:10 p.m. Eastern, the game that everybody wants to talk about this afternoon, the Houston Astros at New York Mets, 2 excellent baseball teams. Astros 46-27, 26-16 on the road. At the New York Mets, 47-28, 24-11 at home. Citi Field in Queens. Let's start with the weather there. It is 81 Fahrenheit, 7.7 miles per hour, out to right, semi-right center, and it gets stronger throughout the game, up to 10.1 miles per hour. Then we'll take a look at the line history in this Mets-Astros spot. Verlander versus Walker. This is a beauty. There was an initial 5-cent move towards the Astros. Then it came back to minus 125. Let me see if that's... God, no, this is... okay. So I'm just going to give... I guess this site is not updating. So I'm only going to give the opening line and where it is now. And we'll just work with that. So... it opened up at minus 125, now minus 140. A 15-cent move to the Houston Astros. And we'll take a look at the total. This total opened up at 7.5 and is now at 8. 7.5 is now at 8 at a pick'em. Let's take a look at where the money lies in this one. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bets on this game because it's a beauty. 11,991 tickets in. We have 77% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on the Houston Astros. Then we have 63% of the tickets and 71% of cash on the under. All right, let's move this over here. Ulysses Hayes says, this is one of my primary picks, Houston money line. I like Russian Girl, says Mets really disappointed me. I expect them to come back today. Tommy Gun Ricci says, Carrasco actually settled down after the horrible first inning. He allowed 4 runs in the first inning, said gave up 1 run after the blow-up. They pulled him after 74 pitches, 4 strikeouts. Domi had the over 4.5 strikeouts. Domi Gun already took the under first 5, under 4.5, first 5. First 5. Ski took the Rays, first 5 team total over 2.5, full game team total over 3.5. Fade Lauer. We're sort of doing that. We are on, and this was not a bet that I made before the show. It was a bet after Nolly's breakdown. We are on the Rays first 5. I get why you'd want to do that. Okay, let's get back to this. Tommy Gunn says Mets win this today, fellas. Ulysses says Mets can't handle this lineup or hit their pitcher. Mets have not lost 3 in a row all season long, and El Dorado Custodian getting the love that he deserves. It means a ton to us, man. It means a ton to us. All right, Verlander, last start at the Yankees was a thing of beauty. He loves big games, loves pitching in New York. Now he's got a second opportunity to do that. Just in a different borough. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 3 Ks, 1 walk. 2.22 ERA, 0.87 whip. Taijuan Walker, 6-2, 3.03 ERA, 1.21 whip. In his last start, it was a 5-3 win at the Marlins. It was sort of the tail end of the Marlins raking against righties. And he allowed 8 hits over 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. Both teams have similar numbers versus righties. Mets hit with a higher average. Astros have a little more power. And the big difference between these 2 teams is the bullpen for the Astros, 2.78 ERA, 1.15 whip, being very, very good. Take it away here, Nolly. This is the big game of the afternoon, Houston Astros and New York Mets.
Yeah, definitely a big game. Like you mentioned it, Verlander likes to step up in this type of situation, and I'd expect him to do it once again. There are a couple guys that have hit him overall in the past, but 2 guys that really aren't hitting the ball that well. That's going to be Lindor and Mark Canha here in the month of June. Lindor is hitting just 211, Canha hitting just 200, and that's a big deal and a big reason why the offense really hasn't been clicking the way that they were early on and just a couple weeks ago. Justin Verlander, like you said, a big-time pitcher, and on the other side, Taijuan Walker, a guy that has shown the ability to pitch in big games in big games as well. And going against a big guy like this and a big name pitcher like Verlander, I'd expect him to try to sit there and match him. Taijuan Walker pitched well last time out, albeit going on a back-to-back, and going against Sandy, gave him a chance to win. They were able to pull it out late, and that's all you can ask for a guy like him. A guy that still overall the advanced metrics might indicate he gets hit a little bit harder, relies on the ground ball and the little double plays a little bit more. Overall, a FIP of 3.11, so still a solid pitcher, and I'd expect him to pitch well today. Overall, difficult to run up against this Houston lineup. At times they catch fire, especially Jordan. It's difficult for me to keep running up against them. They burned me a few times. So ultimately for me, I didn't make a move, but I do expect this to be somewhat of a pitcher's duel. This is a big time game. I lean towards the under, but I didn't make a move.
Wow. Also, before we dive into this a little more, there's a really good vibe here with everything that we're doing at Pub Sports Radio. It means so much to us. And we just had Jason Meyer buy 100 beers for us in the Buy a Beer, where our man Jeff Slaughter wants to take care and buy everybody's hotel rooms for our trip in Atlantic City, and that's why we're raising money. And that's a $500 dono that Jason Meyer just dropped, and it's just enormous. And is that our guy? Is that Jason M here from Australia? I wonder if that's Jason M here from Australia, who always because the show starts so late over in Australia. But that's not the first time he's bought an enormous amount of beers for Pub Sports Radio. So we want to give an enormous thank you to you, Jason, and to all of you guys who are supporting what we're doing here. It means so much to us. So, wow. Unbelievable. Incredible. All you guys are incredible. And Moose Money saying this community is so amazing. It's great. Everybody working together for the greater good, not selling each other anything. It's just exciting. I'm proud to be a part of it. And thank you, Jason M. And thank you, El Dorado Custodian. And thank you, Schnizzle. And thank you to everybody who is supporting it. Ulysses Hayes, man, we're going to do it up. I know there's so many of you guys on the East Coast that want to do it up, and we can't wait. So Nolly with a feel towards the under, but not moving on it here. One more look back to where the cash was on this spot. 65% of the ticket, 71% of cash on this under. And when we saw the total, it opened up at 7.5 and it moved up to 8, even though all the money is on the under. There's Ski Profits looks for this game that's popping off here. I believe this is the game that pops off in 14 minutes. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Ski. Coin says New York first 5 under 4.5 seems like the play here. Always faded is on the Mets money line. Believing on this. What do you think of this stat here, Nolly, that so many of us in the chat are talking about, with the Mets haven't lost 3 games all year? Is that something that you believe in, or it's just storylines?
I think it's something that is for real, but it's not just the Mets. It's just overall good teams. That's a very difficult thing to do, is to lose 3 in a row, get swept, especially. I understand it's a very good team in the New York Mets, and I can understand why people would think that way, but eventually it's going to happen. And that's the way I see it. It's baseball, playing 162 games. It's not a 16 or 17 game season like the NFL. So it's definitely bound to happen. Does it happen today? Quite possibly. Short line might scare some people off, might tell you to go take the Mets. Why is Verlander such a short price? But I mean, I don't take that too much into account. They're a solid team, and it's hard to beat them multiple times. That's what I take into account.
Yeah, no, that was well put. I guess we'll just, before, I know there's a ton of you guys moving on this game, so why don't we just take one look at the batter versus pitcher, Walker and Verlander stats here. And against Walker, Altuve, 379 average. Bregman is 3 for 5. Yuli Gurriel is 3 for 5 as well with the shot, the jack. They all get to him. Against Verlander, Mark Canio, who you mentioned has been struggling, hitting 357 against him. Lindor, 313. Marte McCann, 333. I feel this kind of want to have action on this game because it's so exciting, but I don't feel like I have an edge that really appeals to me in this spot. I'm still looking at that first 5 under in Pittsburgh, Washington. I did move on the Rays first 5 with Nolly. And Ron Crawford saying that Kenya is out today. All right, let's move on to 2:10 p.m. Eastern. The next game on the board, Texas Rangers. Oh, and those of you asking about our trip, we have not nailed down a date yet. We do this. Everybody kind of parties differently. A lot of people are like, let's go to whatever place you pick at the best time of year. So if it's in Atlantic City, let's go when it's hot and the boardwalk is jammed. And for me, I've always been the opposite. Let's go at the shittiest time of year when everything is fucking cheap and we can run the spot. That's just always been the way I party. And I get, look, maybe it's old man or cheap or whatever you want to call it. But so there is a little bit of talk about, because a lot of people are like, let's go when it's summertime. I'm like, no, let's go when it's fucking dead and we run the shit. So we're still discussing when we go. All right, let's go. Texas Rangers 36-37, 19-17 on the road at the Kansas City Royals, 26-47, 13-25 at home. Christopher said, why would you want to go when it's packed? I'm like that, man. Let's go when we look around. It's just 80-year-olds, man, for Big Boss, for Big Boss alone. Viper says that's lame when no one's there. Not for me, man. I don't need anybody else. I couldn't give a fuck about anybody else. I just want to party with you guys and run the shit and gamble heavy and have everything for cheap. But I hear you, Vipe. Okay. Dane Dunning going up against Zach Greinke. We're in Kansas City, Missouri here. Let's start with the weather in KC. 87 Fahrenheit, 8.1 miles per hour out to left center. Goes up to 9.4 miles per hour. Take a look at the line history here in this KC spot. Here we go. I came very close to betting the first 5 under in this one. This opened up with Texas at minus 120. The first move was towards Texas. Then it came back 10 cents at 8.32 to minus 115. Right now it's back to minus 120. This total is sitting at 9 at minus 120. And that's where it moved. It's a 5-cent move from the opening line. Take a look at the cash in this one. We have slight perceived line value to the Kansas City Royals. 10,201 tickets in. 76% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on Texas. And yet this line is not moving. Then we have 77% of the tickets and 98% of cash on the over, which, there's been a 5-cent move to that over. Why would all the money be coming in on the over? I like Dunning's last start, albeit it was at home. I'm a capper that backs Dunning. I don't think he's that bad. And last start, he went 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and 2-1 loss at home versus the Nats. He's got a 4.17 ERA on the year, 1.33 whip. Zach Greinke came back from the IL and looked very good. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, no walks, and a 3-1 win at home. He's got a 4.68 ERA, 1.27 whip on the year. The Rangers and the Royals, neither team hits righties at all. We're talking Rangers 669 OPS, Royals 658 OPS. The big difference in this game is the Rangers bullpen has been very good all year long, and the Royals bullpen is terrible. Take it away here. Nolly Knows, Rangers, Royals.
Yeah, Dunning's been tough. Early on with the White Sox, I was willing to back him when he was with that team. And he actually faced this Royals team as a member of them 2 times and pitched pretty well. Pitched well against these Royals last year, going 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. So after having that bounce back start, I can understand why you would want to back him. But it's just hard to see what he's gonna do. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna back him 2-3 starts in a row, and all of a sudden he gets lit up unexpectedly. So that's the one thing that I've seen with Dunning that has happened a few times. The other side with Greinke, the great anomaly, the guy just comes back in and looks great once again. Like it just doesn't miss a beat. So overall in his career, he's 7-8 with a 3.72 ERA and 22 starts against Texas. Mind you, overall it's been a long career, the old man. But I think this is a tough game for me. I can understand why you would look at the under, but overall, I understand Texas's low numbers against the right-handers. But there is a guy, Adolis Garcia, who's on a 9-game hitting streak, and that's kind of like the angle that I was thinking about attacking with right now. In the month of June, he's hitting 317 with the 584 slugging, and against right-handers, he actually hits better. Against lefties, he hits 192. Against righties, he hits 284 with a 529 slugging. So this is a guy that I think can change it for them. You know, you put him in there, hits a double, and all of a sudden opens up the offense for you. So I might look at a hitter prop with him, but a game that's kind of got me going back and forth. So overall, I haven't made a move, but that's the one thing I'm looking at.
You know, I loved Greinke's last start. I become a fan of his. I talked so much shit about him when he left LA. It seemed like a terrible decision to me when you had a chance at putting something special together and just going because the money was a little bit bigger. At that point, the money's so huge. I don't know why he went to Arizona, and I took offense for whatever reason. But I liked what he did last start off the IL, and then I was thinking of maybe backing him again with the second straight home start as well. But look at these numbers against him. Adolis Garcia, whom you just spoke of on the 9-game hitting streak, is 6 for 10 against him with a homer and 3 jacks. Cole Calhoun's batting .545 with 22 at-bats, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. I mean, these guys just get to him. And then who are the best hitters in the lineup? You know, Simeon and Seager both get to him. It makes me very nervous to want to support Greinke, even though he's tricky here. Vipe says, Greinke's still your favorite pitcher? You know, I've come around, Viper. I've actually come around and I kind of like what he's been doing and keeping his career going and going back to the Kansas City Royals. I kind of like all this stuff. Bruno is on the Jays under 8.5 tonight. I'm on that first 500, but we'll talk about that soon. My man Reich is sprinkling on the Corey Seager homer prop at plus 400. Coin saying that Texas is 0-7 in Dunning's road starts. And Ski Profit saying Dunning is a fade on the road. Bet on at home. Reich saying the Rangers hit Greinke. And Nutflush says he left LA because he struggles with anxiety and he wanted something low key. I know that he struggles with anxiety, and that's a completely legitimate answer, Nutflush, if that's the case. Viper leaning to the over, but he's off. I'm not going to move on this under or the Royals or Dunning. So I guess when you put it all together, the only thing that would be keeping us off an over is the fact that Greinke looked so good in his last start. Is that the only thing that's keeping us off a first 5 over?
Yeah, and overall, the Royals just really aren't hitting that well. Over the last 10 games, they're hitting like 220, you know, so a team really not producing a whole lot.
Yeah, both teams against righties, 237, 669 OPS, 235, 658 OPS. You're right. Exactly right. Let's move on. And there is Matty Ice with the taint play of the day. It is the Atlanta Braves team total over 4.5 at minus 115. And let's go get that here. And oh, beautiful, beautiful. I'm on the first 5 over in that game already. I love seeing that, Matty Ice, correlating with sweet, sweet taint. All right, so no moves from Nolly and I'm even taking that first 5 question mark off. Let's move on to 3:40 p.m. That is next for us, and that's the San Diego Padres at Arizona Diamondbacks. And that brings us to good old Ron Crawford's play of the day. Ron Crawford be running so nice. Shout out to Ron Crawford. Arlen says, when you said you bet a total of $120 per day, I don't know what you're talking about, Arlen. $120 per day. Jesus. I mean, I'm 42. When I was 17, I was clearing $100 a day. I did talk about when stand-up was my full-time job and I just didn't have enough cash. And then I was only really able to bet about $100 or $150 a day. So then we're going back maybe 7 or 8 years. That's why I was betting parlays. But everybody knows my unit size. It's for NHL and NFL. It's $200. For MLB, it switches from $150 to $125 depending on how I'm doing. And for college football and college basketball, it's $100. So $120 per day.
In juice.
Don't know. In Vig. I don't know what you're talking about, Arlen. Yeah. And so it says, Can't be taking capping advice from $40 a unit capper. Yeah. I mean, you can take capping advice from whoever you want to take advice from. But fuck, man. This is a everyday thing where we put a lot of money and we take a lot of risks. Now, I have a gambling account. That's not my family account, but no, it's all good. Sorry. Yeah, I'll move on. But I do need to touch on it. Someone saying I'm betting $120 a day. Okay, let's move on here. And again, one of the things that we talk about is that your unit size is your unit size, because there's a lot of guys out there with smaller unit sizes that are very good cappers. And if I was only using actual offshore accounts, I don't know if I can tell you my unit size wouldn't be as big. I have a local, I get to bet with credit, so it changes things. Okay, but let's get back to work here. Diesel, no, I know there's no need to explain, but I'll choose to. All right, let's move on. 3:40 p.m. We just talked about the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. Sandy and Diesel says some really good cappers have $25 units. That's the truth. Some really good cappers do have $25 units. Let's go. San Diego Padres 45-31, 24-15 on the road at the Arizona Diamondbacks 34-41, 19-21 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Clevenger going up against Bumgarner. We have Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day on the Padres. We also have a situation where there is perceived full line value on these Arizona Diamondbacks here. And Bumgarner at home has been okay to me over the last little while. Let's take a look at the line history here. It opened up with the Padres at -140. By 10:30 this morning, they were -130. And right now, that's where they stand, -130. This total opened up at 8 at -110. There's been a 5-cent move to the over at -115. Let's talk about the line, or where the cash lies in this spot. Padres, Diamondbacks, 8,902 tickets in, 79% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the Padres, yet market not moving towards them. Then 42% of tickets and 92% of cash on the over, which is not moving in that direction either. Clevenger, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and 10-4 win at home versus Arizona. 3.52 ERA, 1.30 whip. 23 innings, 25 Ks, 9 walks. And we didn't get to see him all of last year because of Tommy John, and they brought him along slowly. Mad Bum got touched up in his last start at San Diego. 4 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 4 of which were in 5 Ks and no walks. 3.75 ERA, 1.37 whip on the season. He's been good on the season, better than I expected. Padres are hitting 257, 28 OPS versus lefties, while the Diamondbacks are hitting 213, 678 OPS versus righties. Padres bullpen 3.52 ERA, 1.11 whip. Well, the Diamondbacks bullpen 4.27 ERA, 1.38 whip, converted 17 of 25. Take it away here. Nolly Knows. Padres, Diamondbacks.
Yeah, something interesting to point out in that game with Madison Bumgarner last time out. I still believe 2 of the other runs were unearned as well. Another situation with the double play where first baseman tried to go throw a double play and he hit the runner. And it would have been an easy double play had he made the play. But nonetheless, they didn't count it. And honestly, Bumgarner seems to throw these fits. You know, they give up an error early in the first inning. Should have been the 3rd out. And you just see it. He kind of just throws up a cookie, just mad that it's unearned anyway. So he just doesn't seem to care. Same thing happened the 2nd inning, and that's what got another few runs. So ultimately, the outing wasn't as bad as you think. But overall, he has been giving up a lot of hits, and they do get to him over here on the other side. And it being a back-to-back start is something that's worrisome for me. And on the other side, Mike Clevenger, a guy that's velocity is down a tick, 1.5 miles an hour, be it not a lot, but his spin rate's also down and his whiff rate's down a lot compared to, you look at 2019 and 2020, whereas it was sitting about 30%. He's down to about 12.8% right now currently. And maybe he just needs to get it going, though, because he hasn't really been fully released. Maybe they let him go finally this time out. He was able to expand a little bit, but being the back-to-back is what concerns me. But when you look at these Arizona Diamondbacks over the last 14 days against right-handed pitchers, they are 27th in weighted on base percentage, 29th in batting average and 27th in weighted runs created plus. So really haven't been able to get it done offensively. And I mentioned some of the numbers against Madison Bumgarner, and a guy that I was kind of looking at as a prop was Jorge Alfaro. He's hitting 313 in the month of June with the 597 slugging, and he's 4-12 versus Madison Bumgarner with a double and a home run. So that's a guy that I think, seeing him in such a short span, I kind of like that. I'm very close to taking that. I'll probably be on that by the end of it.
On the Alfaro prop.
On the prop, yeah.
Yeah, and we got Sharpie in the house. An interesting take Sharpie giving that Cronenworth is 125th without Machado batting behind him. And it's funny how things change so drastically. And we've seen it with the Tribe. We've seen the Guardians, when Jose Ramirez doesn't have anyone to protect them, they're a pretty easy lineup to kind of bat around. So Bumgarner going up against the team that just touched him on the road. Now he's coming back home. Do you think that, I mean, we see a zigzag situation with a lot of these talented pitchers. When they get touched up, they seem to, especially when they get to go home and they maybe can get right, but you don't believe in that spot?
I mean, definitely a possibility. You know, he's a big-time pitcher, and like I mentioned, I don't think the outing was as bad as the numbers might indicate. But just the back-to-back outing is what ultimately keeps me off of games, because it's not that I want to back guys sometimes on back-to-back and they get lit up. It's hard, you know. You look at the numbers just third time around the order, and now you got to see them fourth and fifth time pretty much on back-to-back starts. That's what it is. And so something I don't like.
And my bad, Sharpie was saying 1 for 25. I don't know why. I thought it was just saying he's a 25th of a man. I don't know what the fuck wrong. 1 for 25 was Sharpie saying. Says Padres on back-to-back this year, seeing a pitcher in 10 days destroyed. Burns, Gallen, Woodruff. So we'll see if you move on the Alfaro prop. The other one you were talking about was Adolis Garcia. So let us know if you want to make any of these official as we move through this card. So that game pops off at 3:40. I'm a little nervous. I wish I had like 20 minutes to sit with this game after I'd done all the work. And I almost wish I had more time than that. I'm talking the Tigers San Francisco Giants game at Oracle Park. It was interesting that the Tigers were plus 175. I think the Giants were minus 210. That's exactly the situation. And that's where it opened, and that's where it's been, for what? For like 18 hours now. And at first I was like, man, the market not moving towards the Giants, even though all this money is on the Giants. Let's just go over how much money is on them. 80% of the tickets and 85% of the cash. I was like, well, that should make me like the Tigers more. They're not turning the Tigers into a bigger dog because they must be concerned about these Tigers here. And that's sort of where I ended. And I kind of wish I spent even more time on it. By the way, 67% of the tickets are on the over, 51% of cash. The reason why I wasn't sure of that is because obviously Alex Wood's numbers would be staring at everybody in the face. 5-6, 5.05 ERA. He's not being good. He went 1 inning in his last start at Atlanta. Both of his last 2 starts were on the road. They were bad. His last 2 starts before that were at home, and they were very good. And that made me nervous. I like what Ronny Garcia has done on the road. He looked very good last out, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and a 5-1 win at Arizona. He had a good road start before that. And then if you go back 4 or 5 weeks, he went into the Bronx and had a good road start in Yankee Stadium. Ski profits on Tigers' first 5 team total over 1.5. Says Tigers 6 weighted runs created plus first left-handed pitching last week's fade of Alex Wood right now. I am fading. I guess I'm fading Alex Wood as well, but quite nervously. I think that he could have a good start here at home, just like his last 2 starts. That wouldn't surprise me, even though I've liked what the Tigers have been doing against lefties, even though they still haven't been hitting with a ton of power. But their average against lefties up to 264. And we've talked about that for a while, that they were going to start hitting lefties better because we saw what they did last year and the year before. But I didn't take the plus 175. And the idea being was that this total was at 8. They're not expecting a ton of runs. The first 5 total those at 4.5. And I took the plus a half run. So I'm on Tigers first 5 plus a half at plus 105. Let's hear what you have to say about this spot, Nolly. I'm very interested. Tigers, Giants.
Yeah, you mentioned it with Ronnie Garcia. He's stepped up in big spots. He's gone against the New York Yankees already, shutting them down on the road. And you mentioned it on the road. He's 2.3 runs better with a 3.18 ERA. And that's something that I like to see. And honestly, the Giants really not hitting the ball the same way that the Tigers have hit the lefties over the last 30 days. Tigers are batting 279 against the lefty with a 421 slugging. When you look at compare their numbers, they are 227 on the year and a 331 slugging. So hitting significantly better against the lefty most recently. And yeah, there are concerns with Wood. You've seen it. He goes on stretches and where he gets lit up, and then he'll be back next month. He'll be back and dominate for a month as well. So he definitely can turn it around. But this spot right here, the way Ronnie's been pitching and the way he's been getting it done, and the fact that no one's really seen him over here for the San Francisco Giants. He's still a young guy, 24 years old, still trying to figure it out. He has been getting hit decently hard with some exit velocity that doesn't look not something that you want to be looking at, but still overall crafty guy and seems to handle the situation very well. Very good presence on the mound, and I'd expect him to succeed here. I took a shot with the Tigers first 5 with the plus money. I like their numbers, and I'd expect him to succeed. And fade Wood a little bit, but trust Ronnie as well a little bit.
Yeah, it just to me feels like a spot where I guess I need to lean on the idea that the Tigers have been hitting lefties so much better, and why try and catch a falling knife? But are you trying to catch a falling knife when you look at what Alex Wood's been able to do at home? I completely get why you guys are on the team total, first 5 team total over 1.5. I would expect that to come through, but I would have some interest in this first 5 under, because I think Ronnie Garcia is going to have a nice start. And it wouldn't surprise me if Wood has a nice start. And if that's the case, maybe dive in a little deeper. You have 32% of tickets on the under and 49% of cash on that under. Rob Free says bad teams are bad teams. Tigers will lose again today. And that ideology that Rob Free has been working so well for Top Set, staying away from betting on bad teams. I get it. But
I'd say, I'm sorry.
Well, no, were you going to talk about some of the value on the bottom, the worst 5 teams in the league? Because that's something that I know some cappers truly believe in, that there's value in the worst 5 teams in Major League Baseball. But what were you going to say, Noy?
I find value in betting their unders, a good pitcher on the mound. But what I was going to mention is that if you're going to look at an under, I would say, why not look at a full game? You look at the weather, and they're in San Francisco, a pitcher's ballpark, so I think I would want to incorporate those 2 things into that. A good, decent bullpen for the Giants, a good bullpen in the Tigers. So I would want to incorporate the full game.
All right, let's see what we can get. So you're going for the big score here on the first 5. Tigers are up to plus 189 over at Penny. First half, you're getting a plus 178 over there. Let's see if we can fix that. So you're not going for the plus a half. You're going for the big score, Nolly?
Yeah, just money line. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess big score.
Let's get you that right now. Plus 182 full game at circa plus 174. Wow. Okay. So the best we can get you is that plus 178 for Nolly. Nolly plus 178. It's Keep Prop saying Tigers team total over 1.5 versus lefties being good to me lately. I like the spot. Kevin K giving a shout out to El Dorado Custodian, richly deserved. And Topset says Tigers are not consistent. This is going to be an under, and I took it last night. So the Giants bullpen has been a little bit better of late, but Nutflush Allen still says if you're looking at team total over, the Giants bullpen is something to fade right now. We know how good the Tigers bullpen was to start the season. I mean, I'm talking myself into this first 5 under 4.5. But if you were betting at Nolly, you'd say that you would prefer the full game on the total.
Yeah, because you can talk about as bad as the bullpen is, it's still Detroit Tigers. Against a lefty, I'm going to trust them early on against Wood, but I'm not going to trust their bats for a full 9 innings.
And the 8 is used to the over. I certainly don't want to double up on it. Let's go back to what the weather was. Did I even go over the San Francisco? The weather in San Francisco is 53 Fahrenheit, 10.2 miles per hour out to left center. But Billy Friedrich on a no-run first inning. Okay, I'm going to add an under on this game. And I guess when it comes down to this, if I have some concern over Wood turning it on and some concern over the Tigers bats against lefties being strong, I guess the full game under will be the spot to it. I've had really nice ROI on full game unders in San Francisco this year, and I'm going to move on it. So I'm going to add, there'll be an addition for me, the full game under in Tigers, San Francisco Giants. All right, let's move on to 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles 35-41, 17-24 on the road at Seattle Mariners, 35-41, 16-19 at home. This is the 8th and final afternoon game for us to attack here. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. My first thought was not to believe in Austin Voth. I wanted to fade Austin Voth, but there's no way I can support Chris Flexen right now under any circumstances, and I'm not going to. Let's take a look at the weather and the line history and then go to town here. The weather we have is 65 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour out to left center, and it goes down to 6.4. So it's going out to left center throughout the whole game between 6.4 and 7 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. Tigers, Giants. I just said Tigers, Giants. Sorry, Mariners, Orioles, Voth, Flexen. We have the Orioles opening up at plus 115. They get up to plus 125, but they're sitting at plus 120 right now. And the total opened up slightly juiced to the under, and it's now a pick'em. We have the cash flow in this Orioles Mariners spot. 6,708 tickets in. 46% of the tickets, 51% of the cash on the Orioles. They give slight line value. Then from a total perspective, 70% of tickets on the over and 97% of cash on the over. But the market's not moving towards that over. Voth coming off 3-inning start, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-1 win at the White Sox. Flexen coming off a 4-3 win at the Angels, but he didn't look very good. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, and 2 walks. Versus righties, the Orioles are hitting 229, 683 OPS. Lee Davis on the over in this spot. Mariners versus righties, 238, 705 OPS. This Orioles bullpen is getting better and better and better. El Dorado Custodian is off to work. Give me a shout out to Nolly Knows in the motherfucking chat. Much love, El Dorado Custodian. Thank you so much for your support. It just means a ton to us, my man. And I know how hard you work for your cash, and that makes it mean even more. So respect to you, my man. Have a great day at work. And let's get this afternoon MLB cash. Johnny Gonzalez says over. So it's a situation here where all of the bets are on the over, and the market is not moving. Let's just move over to what it would be right now. It's at 8 at a pick'em, and everybody's on the over. I mean, that makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. And just with my system, I would not be able to bet the over. This Orioles bullpen's pitching so well, 3.10 ERA, 1.20 whip, and they've converted 19 of 24 save opportunities. This Mariners bullpen, 3.85 ERA, 1.12 whip. And we have just a quick audio issue for Nolly. He's going to be back in action here in a second. Johnny Gonzalez says, Voss so bad on the road, I trust the O's bats. Coin saying Seattle first 5 over seems like the likely play. Johnny Gonzalez says this over can hit the first 5. Look, Johnny, I get why you would expect that and trust that, even though the Orioles are 229, 683 OPS versus righties. Neither team is righties hard. But you just have to think, why would the market not change that number or not even put any extra vig on it if everybody was betting it? And for me, I have a healthy fear of the book succeeding, and I have a healthy fear of the books trying to fuck us over. And so because of that, there's no way I could touch an over if all the money's on the over and it's not moving. So JPG says, do you think the looming suspensions kill the team's motivation? I mean, it's an interesting look. And then Topset says, I think this is definitely an under spot because of it. There's Jojo Rich in the house. Always faded, liking the stat from LJ from H-Town. Let me see if I can pull that up. It says road favorite out of the division are cashing over 65%. Yeah, it's a spot that also Dominic and Ricci been talking a lot about, the road favorite out of the division. So Nolly's gonna be back in action here shortly, but I'm gonna move off of this. It looks like we got Nolly back here in a second. I wonder if Jose's gonna. Do you want to do a sound test on Nolly to see if he's good to go? Or you want to jump in? Let's see. Why don't we just bring Jose on here and see if he's moving on this Orioles-Mariners spot, which I want nothing to do with at this point. Take it away and welcome, Jose, to the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Are you moving on the Orioles-Mariners game?
I am not. No, I'm not all about the Voth, man. By the way, I wore my fluffiest white shirt today. I was told fluffy white shirts are back in by the kids. But yeah, no, I'm not moving on this game either. Not much to say about it, really. I'll be honest. We'll see if
I didn't know. Let's see what Nolly.
Well, I was hoping we'd move on to the next game because this game sucks, Jim. You know that. Game sucks. Hey, Nolly.
Nolly, we're talking Orioles-Mariners. There's a ton of love for the over in the chat, but 97% of the cash is on the over. What was the ticket count? The ticket count was just 70, I believe. 70% of the tickets, 97% of the cash on the over, and it's still a pick 'em. It's minus 110 to the over. That scares the shit out of me. What do you think about this spot? Voth, Flexen, Orioles-Mariners.
Well, I think right off the bat, when I'm looking over the weather, I sometimes look at that first, and that's what I did in this instance. And when I look at this game, it was like, take the under, buddy. You know, you look at the temperatures there, you look at the ballpark in certain conditions that I love to see as an under better. But you look at Voth, you got to remember this is a guy that they gave up on. The Washington Nationals completely gave up on Martinez. You hear, I read articles, and he talks about how he tried everything with the guy. They tried to mix in, and it looked like he was dialed in. He's got the advanced analytics. We look at the advanced analytics, the spin rate, and certain things that they look at. He's got it, but he just wasn't able to produce. If you look, since 2020, only 4 pitchers that have pitched 100 innings have a worse ERA than Voth. Only 4 guys at a 6.63 ERA. That's definitely not a guy that I'm looking to back. On the other side, Chris Flexen, a guy that has given up a lot of hard hits. Exit velocity, exit velo is not good with him. And so I think he's definitely susceptible. So I could definitely see the over in this game, but I'm going to be staying way off the game.
I'm going to be staying way off the game as well. That kind of market that I just scares the shit out of me. Let's go over all the afternoon action here before we move on to the night games. We got 7 more night games to break down and open up that opportunity for Nolly to move on either of those props. And that was, I believe it was Adolis Garcia and Jorge Alfaro. So let's just go through them again. We're already on the Rays, and I know that game has already popped off here. We are on the Rays first 5. I had to bet that on the fly, which is something I don't do very often. And Beeks got through the Brewers in the top half of the inning, so there's 1 out in the bottom half. Then on game 2, we did not move on the Yankees. We stayed off of the Yankees spot, although I can understand why anybody would move on them, and I could understand expecting that Jameson Tyne will have a bounce-back spot, and that the Yankees offense will open up on Cole Irvin, but it's just too expensive. Then we have the first 5 under 5 at plus 100 for Pittsburgh, Washington. I kind of like that spot. Let's just see what's happened in the last 30 minutes with all this money and all these tickets coming in here. 76% of tickets on the under and 73% of cash on that under. Wow, 76 and 73. Has the market moved at all on that under? I'm very close to joining you on this one, Nolly. And full game's up to 9.5, but we don't want to trust those bullpens. Okay, Astros, Mets, we stayed off. And then here comes your opportunity for your the first of your player props. Did you want to move on to Adolis Garcia?
I'm not going to move on Garcia. I was going to end up moving on Alfaro. I got to see what I could get right now.
All right. Why don't you line shop for Alfaro? Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is on the San Diego Padres. I'm adding the full game under in Detroit, San Francisco. I'm already on the Tigers first 5 plus a half, and Nolly is on the Tigers first 5 plus 178. Orioles, Mariners, we stayed off, and that concludes our MLB action. Molly Mouse is Lauer dealing right now as well. Well, we were able to get the
1 inning.
Yeah, we were able to get it without having to take the Rays minus a half. So we're in an okay spot. Okay, so let me just see what this would cost me. Wow, it's down to minus 115 on the under. It's the play. I think it's the play. And I'm gonna add this in. I still got 45 minutes in Pittsburgh, Washington. So I'm gonna add it in. I'm gonna add this first 5 under and roll with you, Nolly. Okay, all right, we are in business. Let's move on to our evening action. We also will have a Say Hey play of the day coming up as well. That will be on the Marlins Cardinals game. But we start off with none other. With our first evening game on the card, a little bit of taint action for you. Taint is on the Atlanta Braves team total over 4.5 at minus 115. And I've already bet the Atlanta Philadelphia first 5 over 4.5. And I got minus 115 on that as well. But Taint is in. Braves team total over 4.5. Kyle Wright has not been looking very good. And I find it hard to believe that even without Bryce Harper, this would be a get-right spot for him. Ranger Suarez, though, has been looking better. It's just the Braves are hitting 262, 809 OPS first lefties. I think we can get over this first 5 over 4.5 here. Let's take a look at the weather and then the line history. And there's Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Says a reminder to Jose that the Celtics lost the finals. Oh, no. Oh. Don't Ask, Don't Tell. What a guy, man. You've supported us since day one. And it means a ton to us. Thank you so much. A $50 dono from Don't Ask, Don't Tell. What a guy. Just $50 reminder. This is the $50 reminder. What a guy. Don't Ask, Don't Tell. You're a good man. A $50 reminder. Okay, let's go to the weather here. We're back in night action. 82 Fahrenheit, 8.8 miles per hour to right field. Goes down to 7.2 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history for this one and move over to Wright versus Suarez. Opened up with the Braves at minus 145. There's been a 10-cent move towards them. Towards the Phillies. Phillies have gone from plus 125 to plus 115. And from a total perspective, it was at 8.5 juice to the under as it opened. And now it's at 9, minus 105 to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. 8,183 tickets in. 80% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on the Braves. And yet there's been this move towards the Phillies, which has razor sharp picks, gamblers, first glance written all over it. Then 56% of tickets and 95% of cash to the over. At least it's gone up a half run there. So Kyle Wright, 3.18 ERA, 1.16 whip, looked very good this year. But last start was ugly. And it's been a few in a row that have been ugly. Last start at home versus the Giants, he goes 5 1/3, allows 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk. Ranger Suarez coming off a nice start at the Padres. A nice start. 7 1/3, and Rowdy Tellez just goes yard. Of course, Rowdy does. Of course, it's ex-Blue Jay that rips my still beating hard out of my chest. 7 1/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and a 6-2 win at the Padres. Braves are hitting 262, 809 OPS versus lefties. I already said that. Phillies 244, 712 OPS versus righties. And the Braves have a huge bullpen advantage. 3.08 ERA, 1.16 whip compared to the Phillies 4.12 ERA, 1.37 whip. But the Phillies bullpen has been better. They have been better. Take it away here. Nolly Knows. Braves, Phillies.
Yeah, I can definitely understand a move towards the Phillies. You look over the last 30 days versus lefties, they're third overall in batting average, second in slugging, and third in isolated power versus lefties. So I could definitely understand over the last 14 days, it does drop a little bit, but still overall great numbers. But you look in the Phillies versus right-handers over the last 14 days, quite a significant difference. They are 30th in batting average, 29th in slugging, 29th in weighted runs created plus, and 28th in weighted on base percentage. So they really have been struggling, especially with the loss of, especially with the loss of their big bat there. So I'd expect them to continue to struggle here, albeit maybe a get right spot for Wright. Yeah, he hasn't looked that great, but a guy overall, you look at some, he ends up giving up, I believe it was 10 hits against the Chicago Cubs. He got 16 ground ball outs in that game. So that's something that I focused on and see some adjustments. He's not struggling, but he's adjusting throughout the game, having to rely on some more ground balls and having to pitch to contact. He did it and ended up going deeper in the game, ate up some innings for his bullpen. So ultimately, guys still growing and still figuring things out. But I think this is a get right spot for him going against Philadelphia, the inability for them to hit more recently. But I think on the other side, Ranger Suarez is susceptible against this team. The team got to him earlier this year already. He didn't make it past through the fifth inning. So I'd expect Atlanta to get to him early, but ultimately didn't move on it.
So do you see an improvement from Suarez over the last few weeks? Because I feel like I have seen that. And I thought that last start at the Padres, and the Padres are good against lefties. I thought it was, and look, I know Machado's out of the lineup, so things have become easier, but I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, I thought in that game we picked on the weak Padres lineup in that game personally. So I thought that it was more so that than not just his performance, but he has looked better, and his overall average exit velocity and hard hit rate are pretty good. You know, he does keep it down to a tad, but this is a tough lineup to go against, and they've already seen him, the familiarity with him, and so that's what I like. That's why I think they'll get to him.
Okay, I won't add anything here, but certainly, eye-opening that this would open up with the Braves at minus 145, and now we'd see the Braves at minus 135 and all the money on them. I mean, that's just, that's enough to make me want to back Suarez and how he's improved here. But I guess it all comes down to, do I really want to mess with the Braves who are hitting 262, 809 OPS versus lefties? I guess it comes down to that. Do I really want that? And I guess the answer to that would I guess be no. Let's just, before I decide not to do it, because those numbers are screaming at me here, I just want to let's just take one look at the matchup situation that we have here, batter versus pitcher against Suarez. There's not too much to worry about here. I don't know. I maybe I should be more nervous against the squad against the right. God, this Phillies lineup just doesn't look scary without Harper in it. I get it. Joey Marinaccio says Braves for me. Okay, I'm going to take a little more time here, but I've begun to start. I guess if I was going to take the Phillies, I would have to take them first five as well. because the Braves bullpen's so elite compared to that Phillies bullpen. Okay. Okay, we've had a switch from Jose, his game. That's all good. No problem there. And okay, I'm going to leave this alone at this point. But I do have a slight lean towards the Phillies first 5. Moose Money says, I think Wright bounces back, and I like the K-pop prop for Wright. Phillies strikeout percentage at 24% since Harper went down. And Rance saying that 9 seems too high. Maurice Walker on the team total over for the Braves. And again, that is the taint play today. Melly Mouse says, I say we fade the Phillies against any good pitcher. Is Kyle Wright considered a good pitcher? We did consider him a good pitcher a month ago. And his year-long stats say that he's a good pitcher. 5 home runs allowed in 85 innings. Okay, let's move on into the big game for us up here. 7:07 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox 42-33, 22-17 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays. 42-32, 23-14 at home. Rogers Center, Toronto, Ontario. It's been raining here most of the morning, but it's going to be nice tonight, and we all expect this roof to be open. So let's see what the weather is. 67 Fahrenheit, 5.8 miles per hour in, up to 6.2 miles per hour in. Let's take a look at the line history in this big AL East battle. Pivetta versus Manoah. We have the Jays opening up at minus 145. They move up to minus 165. And that's where they stand right now. This total is at 8.5, minus 115 to the under. And it opened at a pick'em at minus 110. Let's move over to the cash flow in this one. This is Red Sox Blue Jays, 8,334 tickets in. There is slight line value from Sports Insights on the Toronto Blue Jays and Alek Manoah. 74% of tickets, 91% of cash is on the Blue Jays. 20% move towards them. Then 24% of tickets and 79% of cash is on the over, which is interesting. Mally Mouse says Alek is ace. Interesting game right here. Pivetta has been very good of late, and he's now put together a good season, even though he got off to a bad start. 8-5, 3.25 ERA, 1.11 whip, 86 Ks and 88 2/3. His last start, 7 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer at 4 Ks, no walks, and a 6-3 win at the Guardians. Pivetta from Oak Bay, Vancouver Island on the West Coast, going up against Alek Manoah, who has taken the city by storm. I mean, they're just, everyone's in love with this guy. 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 3 walks, and a 9-4 win at the Brewers. Last out, 2.05 ERA, 0.96 whip. Lee Davis says I lean to the under here. Moose Money says Red Sox bats are on fuego, but I've seen it a million times where an elite pitcher shuts that down. Is Manoah elite yet? I think he is elite. Red Sox versus righties, 260, 733 OPS. Blue Jays versus righties, 254, 751 OPS. Red Sox bullpen, 3.73 ERA, 1.21 whip, converted 17 of 32. This Blue Jays bullpen, atrocious. 4.39 ERA, 1.30 whip, 22 of 37. I moved on the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 120. I also moved on the first 5 minus a half for Manoah at minus 120, both at minus 120. Let's hear what Nolly Knows has to say. Red Sox, Blue Jays, take it away.
Yeah, definitely another great matchup here in the AL East between some top contenders. You look at the Toronto Blue Jays, the way they've been hitting the right-handers over the last month, and that's what kind of scares me off the game, off the first 5 under for me personally. But Nick Pivetta, first time around, he got touched up against this team, but if you look at his overall numbers more recently, he's pitched a lot better. He had 2 starts against Toronto, 8 2/3, 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 10 Ks, gave up a home run and 8 walks. So command being an issue, but he's been able to do much better as of late. So I can understand why you might be looking at him. I would trust Alek Manoah significantly more here, just the way that both teams are hitting against the righties, the way Toronto is just really they're number 1 in weighted runs created plus against the righty over the last 30 days. And Boston surprisingly ranking about 18th in that category. So they're hitting the lefty a lot more than the righty. And so that's something that I've noticed when looking over the numbers, and Manoah just continues to go out and shove, and I expect nothing less from him. He pitched well against Boston earlier in the year, and I'd expect him to duplicate that here. So my lean is towards Toronto first 5, but I didn't make a move.
I made the move for us, Nolly. I made the move for us. First 5 minus a half at minus 120. And the first 5 under 4.5. Look, there's a lot of problems with this Blue Jay squad. but they seem to not exist when Manoah's on the mound because we don't see much of the bullpen. The bullpen is a serious problem. And I said it before, about a week or about 3 weeks ago or so. I love Kevin Biggio in that 9th spot, turning the lineup over, can play almost every position on the diamond. And he adds a lot to this team. And I just, I believe in this team, but if the playoffs started right now, we would lose to these other teams because of the bullpen issue. And the bullpen,
it's been brutal.
It's terrible. And if the bullpen's not fixed, there's a big problem. And then we have this brass that just waits until the trade deadline to make a move because they're counting dollars and cents. Now, we have moved for Sergio Romo, but we got to do more than that. I'm on the Boston, Toronto first 5 under 4.5 minus 120. I love the way Pavetta's been pitching. Blue Jays first 5, and also, he's a Canadian kid getting to pitch. Rogers.
I like that.
It's gonna be jammed, and so I like the spot. And Dennis Garcia says the bullpen is atrocious, and Dennis Garcia was saying that this bullpen was atrocious when the numbers were pretty good. He saw how bad this bullpen is, all parts of it. There's not the middle, the closers. It's terrible. Nasty Nate says Red Sox smash. Real Deal Prime says we're fine. We're not a finished product. We better not be. But Manoah on the mound's been very good to us. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Twins 43-34, 20-17 on the road at the Cleveland Guardians. 37-34, 17-15 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's Dylan Bundy Day. There he is in all of his glory. What a performance he has lately. As soon as we made this graphic, Bundy's been taking his hands out of his pants and pitching well. Last start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 2 Ks, 2 walks, the 1-0 loss at home versus the Rockies. 4.80 ERA, 1.28 whip. And, the big Ragu is a guy who fades Dylan Bundy all the time. He stopped fading Dylan Bundy over the last little bit. Bundy throwing nice, going up against Port Hope, Ontario's Cal Quantrill. 4-4, 3.76 ERA, 1.27 whip. 48 Ks and 25 walks, but that's not his steez, He gets soft contact, and he's coming off a 6-3 loss at home versus the Red Sox, but it wasn't on him. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and that 6-3 loss. The Twins' numbers versus righties are skyrocketing. And now on the year, 255, 752 OPS. The Guardians, 257, 720 OPS. These two rivals are playing fun baseball against each other. Twins bullpen 3.83 ERA, 1.26 whip, converted 18 of 30. Jay Peasy said he already bet this over. Guardians bullpen 3.35 ERA, 1.19 whip, converted 20 of 28. Let's start with the weather in Cleveland, where our man Ick Schnizzle is hard at work. 79 Fahrenheit, 4 miles per hour in, down to 3.4 miles per hour. Then we'll take a look at the line history in this Guardian spot here. Bundy, Quantrill. We've seen a big move at first, and this move happened this morning. So there was no move until 10:05 in the morning. Then there was a 20-cent move to the Twins, and then it's come back 15 cents. So there was a big move, and it's come back. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 8.5 at minus 120, and we've seen no movement. We have seen no movement. So let's see where the cash lies and then hand it over to Nolly Knows here. 6,355 tickets in, 55% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on the Minnesota Twins. Then 49% of the tickets, 66% of cash on the over, but no movement there. Take it away here, Nolly. Do you believe in Dylan Bundy? And what are your expectations? And are you betting this? Take it away, Twins, Guardians.
Yeah, Dylan Bundy, huh? I mean, coming over to the Angels, he did change his repertoire, going to the breaking ball significantly more. It worked initially, but what I saw out of him coming into spring training, he was just extremely overweight, so I don't know, maybe the quarantine was good to him and maybe a little too good, and maybe he gets going now, and maybe that's why you see him finally get his feet under him and start to get rolling here in the middle of the season. But ultimately, a guy that's kind of difficult to trust, but something that has been good to trust is the Minnesota Twins bats. They've been rolling right now. They're really really surprised me this year. I didn't expect them to be as good as they were. And Carlos Correa in that lineup is a huge piece, a very vital piece. If he's in there, a team that I'm scared to go against when I'm taking under. So I'd expect Minnesota to keep rolling against Carl Quantrill. But ultimately, I'll be honest, this game is one that I didn't spend a whole lot of time on. Not getting involved once I saw Bundy.
Yeah. Sammy says just Bundy. Right.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. This is a tricky spot when it comes to Bundy. It always has been with him.
Yeah.
Even when he was with the Orioles, it was
even with the Orioles, he'd be 2 guys in 1. I will always remember he gave up 4 innings in the 4 runs in the first inning. I'm sitting there in Vegas, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a shot with the under. Took 12.5, and he ends up going 8 innings. Didn't give up another run, and only gave up like 2 hits the rest of the time out. So he was like 2 guys in 1 game. You know.
Yeah, he's a tricky cap. And Quantrill is, for that matter. A lot of these guys that
Yes.
can't get the strikeouts when they need them and rely on soft contact are tricky. No move for us in Twins Guardians. This was going to be the say hey play of the day. It is not. Miami Marlins 33-40, 14-24 on the road. St. Louis Cardinals 43-34, 24-15 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's start with the weather in St. Louis. 90 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour, right to left. Goes down to 6.3, stays right to left. So the weather not really an issue. May help the pitchers a little. And then we'll go to the line history in this one. The Alcantara versus Palante. We had an initial 15-cent move towards Alcantara. And that was within the first 3 hours the line was available to 8:12 p.m. Since then, it's come back 15 cents. So it's since the opener, we've had a 5-cent move to the Marlins. Then the total, we've had a 10-cent move to the over. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this Marlins spot. So here we go. We already talked about the earlier spot on the board, Clevenger, Bumgarner, where Sports Insights perceived that there was full line value on Arizona. We have the same situation here. There is full line value on the Miami Marlins and Alcantara. 64% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on the Marlins, which is strange. If it had kept moving in the Marlins direction market-wise, then it would make sense. But markets come back. Then 53% of tickets on the over. We don't have a cash number on that. So Alcantara coming off a tough start in the 5-3 loss at home versus the Mets. I did not believe in him in that situation. I was afraid to make any bet on that game. But he got touched as I thought he might get touched. 7 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned, 2 homers, 4 Ks, no walks. He still had a spectacular season. But this is another difficult spot. We will go over batter versus pitcher numbers. Going up against Andre Palante, who's coming off a 3-0 loss at home versus the Cubs. He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 3 walks. He had a quality start, and he's been very good this year. And he's not, to me, I think he's pitching over his head right now, and the book will come out on him. If you look at his career minor league stats, he's a good pitcher in the minors, but he's come up to the show and been a great pitcher. Is he a great pitcher? I don't know. Marlins versus righties, 253, 732 OPS. That number's going down. Cards versus righties, 251, 718 OPS. That number's going up. Marlins bullpen, 4.29 ERA, 1.34 whip. Ev converted 16 of 27. Cards bullpen, 3.65 ERA, 1.24 whip. Ev converted 18 of 26. Take it away here. Nolly Knows, Marlins Cardinals.
Yeah, always exciting to talk about a solid pitcher like that. But one thing I do want to mention, Jimmy, if can Jose tell us why he decided not to take it? Wondering that.
Let's bring him on.
But
right
anyways,
now.
don't want to put him on the spot, you know.
No,
I didn't mean
no problem. Well, truthfully, I think after hearing the full line value, I'll probably still move on the Marlins. That was gonna be my move. I'll give it out, no problem. I'm gonna move on Marlins first 5. I was initially hesitant because the Cardinals numbers against righties are good. Let me pull them up real quick. This month they're hitting they're a seventh, 116 weighted runs created plus against righties. Sandy already dominated them once this year, 8 innings, 4 hits, no run runs at his place. So probably, and I think I'm get off this, and well, I'll probably stay on actually, but I'll probably still make the bet Marlins first 5 -0.5. I just kind of like this next game a little more. I thought the line of the next game was just a little ridiculous. But yeah, no, I still like the Marlins, truthfully.
Do you have any fear of Sandy on the road, or is what are the splits? Let me pull them up. But do you have any fear?
I don't think they are a thing anymore this year. I remember talking about it early on in this year. So this year he's got 60 innings at home, a 1.8, 46 innings on the road, a 2.4. A little difference, but obviously still dominant. So he can fuck with anyone where he wants to now, basically. I still believe in Sandy. Obviously, his last 2 starts against the Mets. The Mets are one of the best teams in baseball. I've said it for the last couple of weeks. I think the Mets are my World Series pick for right now.
Wow.
I think they're the best team in baseball, and they don't have their 2 best pitchers. I think if they get healthy, which is obviously a big if for the fucking Mets, and knowing the Mets, Jacob deGrom's going to step on like a mousetrap and break his toe, and then he'll be done for the year. But I really think that they're a capable squad, and Sandy struggling against them, it's not going to give me too many fears. So I'll take the Marlins here today, first 5 -0.5.
All right. You're getting a lot of love in the chat, Jose, for your outfit. Nolly, what do you think when you hear the breakdown from our guy Lamb Chop?
Well, I didn't expect him to come in here and steal the mic. I just asked a question. I think overall Sandy has pitched well at home and on the road against his team. You look, I don't think it's an issue being the fact that he's seen them. It was April 20th. We are 2 months from that, and it's almost similar to last year. He pitched at home last year, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and then went on the road a couple months later, went 8 innings, 6 hits, 0 earned runs. So produced even better on the road and seeing him the second time in the same season. So something that I'm really not afraid of with Sandy, a guy that works diligently on his craft, and I'd expect him to come in here and shove. The question mark is definitely Payante, but the problem is no one's seen him. And so he's got a very plus fastball, a very good slider. He's got a curveball that he uses, mixes in pretty well with those pitches. So I'd expect him to have some success against this Miami bats that really aren't producing that much. If you look, they're really struggling on the road over the last 10 games. They're 2-8 in the last 10 road games, averaging 2.9 runs per game. And in one of those games, they put up 11. So imagine if we were to take that out. So I think the Marlins are really struggling to hit the ball. Cardinals bullpen still producing pretty well. And the Marlins bullpen, definitely not something that we want to mess with, but Don Mattingly knows that. And that's why Sandy pitches so many innings, because if a guy gives up 4 innings, he's still going to go out there as long as his pitch count isn't at 130. And Sandy's proven that he can go at the 120. He's pitched the least amount of pitches he's thrown in like 6 outings last time out, going like 97. So I believe Sandy has a big bounce back spot here. I like the full game under here in this spot.
Full game under. Well, let's line shop for both of you guys. We're going to start with Jose minus 129 here, first 5. I'm going to see if I can beat that.
I'm probably getting first 5 -0.5, Jim. Just I'm not going to Pasafe it. And Nolly, you'll make me feel better. That under makes me feel like it is a Marlins day. If it was an over kind of day, I feel like it would be a Cardinals win, but I would take them first 5 -0.5. It's plus 110 on Bovada.
All right, it's plus 106 there. Let's see if I can beat the plus 110. I can't. Plus 109 at Pinnacle. So let's get you that plus 110. Oh, Billy Friedrich though can. All right, Say Hey is a plus 115. Say Hey, thank you, Billy. Say Hey, play of the day. Marlins first 5 -0.5 at plus 115. Okay, let's go over the under and see what the best number we can get on the under. Pinnacle offering that under at 7.5 at plus 103. If you wanted it at 8, it's minus 117. 7.5 plus 103, 8 minus 117. Jesus, it's all over the map. I'm surprised that Pinnacle's brought it down to 7.5 because you can get it at 8.5 at minus 122 at Circa. Wow. What do you want? Which one do you want? You got a smorgasbord of opportunity, Nolly.
Well, I personally have 8. So whatever we could do to get 8, match mine.
Okay.
Whatever that ends up.
Well,
I've got 8 at minus 110. So.
Wow. Yeah, I thought I had 8 at minus 110. By the way, I could get the Mets at 7-1 to win the World Series. Are you certain that both starters come back, Jose?
Again, it's the fucking Mets. I just said that I would not be surprised at all if Jacob deGrom stepped on a mousetrap and fucking broke his foot. We just saw yesterday Archie Bradley fucking break his elbow hopping over a railing during the fight. Probably the funniest thing I've ever seen, by the way. So anything can happen in baseball. Baseball injuries are the weirdest thing, but I've seen videos of them throwing. I think it's shocking, really, how well they've been playing without both of their best pitchers and easily the best pitcher in baseball. They've got the hitting, and Buck Showalter is a good manager. So my only concern was just them being the Mets and never doing this before and all that good shit. And obviously the bullpen too is not my favorite thing, but at least they've got Diaz, who maybe one of the best closers in baseball right now, if not the best.
He scares me when he's better now than he looked in the early part of the season. We can get you a great number, by the way, Nolly. Under 8 at minus 105 at Circa. Does it make you feel any better that Dennis Garcia says the Mets are not winning the World Series? It's never gray. It's never a gray area with Dennis.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dennis is probably going to be right. I'll be honest with him. You know, he's got a better chance of being right than I do.
I got that 7.5 plus 105 as well, Jay. PZ, you can get that 8.5 minus 122 at Circa. I'm not moving on this one. I think I've got enough action today. I feel pretty good about. So I'm not moving, but the boys have. Say hey, play today. Marlins first 5 minus half plus 115. Noise on the under 8 minus 105. Jose, stay with us because we moved to the spot that you switched your say hey play of the day. Lucas Ryan says, I agree. The Mets are not winning the World Series. And I don't mind that 7-1 number if you consider what they could be like with the starting pitchers. Why don't we ask you, Nolly, because you have the Dodgers, in your backyard. Do you feel like the Mets are your toughest competition in the National League? And do you think that 7-1 number is a decent offer?
I think it's decent, but I think ultimately it still goes between the Braves and the Dodgers.
Yep.
All right.
Ideally, in my ideal world, seating-wise, the Dodgers and Braves meet up and give the Mets another shot to get in there playing whoever. But that would be my ideal world. Another, if you want to talk a little bit of a longer shot, Jimmy, Padres, man. I know Nolly's not going to like that. The Padres are very interesting to me. Manny Machado's fucking ankles might be broken. Who knows? But he gets healthy. Fernando Tatis gets healthy. We've seen him on the field a little bit, Honestly, I'm a little lukewarm on Fernando recently. I've got a little question marks on him, but if he comes back and does what he's doing, they've definitely got a starting rotation that can get their shit together and do it. Yu Darvish, quietly one of the better pitchers in baseball. I mean, shout out to Dabby Cab. He'll say it all the time, but it's just one of those things. Who can beat the Dodgers, and can the Braves get matched up with the Dodgers so they can take each other out and fight it out? That's like one of the big things here. And the new playoff seeding will always be interesting, of course.
And I forgot to mention that there is no Alfaro in that Padres lineup. Moose Money and Benjamin Mills let us know that. Yeah, I guess that does give me some pause. I'm really impressed with the way the Padres have played, and the Braves,
I mean, I mean, I will say, yeah, definitely. If they start hitting, they're definitely a scary team. And the big thing is the managing over there. That's been the big difference this year. Going with that 6-man rotation is they're reaping the benefits of that more recently. In the month of June, one of the best bullpens in the game. So definitely a great managing over there. And if they get their power numbers up, yeah, definitely a scary team, but not yet.
Isn't this shaping up? I mean, the NHL playoffs were better than I can ever remember. The NBA playoffs, there was a lot of blowouts, but I still thought the competition was pretty fierce, and I enjoyed it, and I liked,
I did not.
But is the MLB not setting up for like the best postseason with like elite teams where there's parity amongst the elite teams? Like I think we're being set up for fucking magic. I know the Yankees are showing that they're.
You know what the Yankees are going to do, Jimmy. We all know what the Yankees are going to do when it comes to the postseason. Come on. We know. They're going to fold like fucking losers. They're a loser.
He's not biased.
Don't do this again. Don't do this again, Jose.
Come on, Jimmy.
It didn't work out well.
Jimmy, they have not beat the Red Sox in a playoff series since I'm a coherent human being. Come on. I can't wait for the Red Sox and Yankees to face in the postseason. I fucking can't wait. Another embarrassment.
Okay, let's move. Jeffrey Moore said, watching the show on a delay, Mets winning the World Series, he almost spit his barbecue out. Okay, we move on to 8:05 p.m. Eastern. That was enjoyable. I enjoyed that last little breakdown here. Christopher Comatini must have just got here because he just said, the fuck is Jose wearing? So I guess he just got here. Okay.
It's reversible too, guys, by the way. It's reversible. It's very nice.
Cincinnati Reds 26-47, 14-24 on the road. The Chicago Cubs 28-46, 13-26 at home. And Dennis Garcia says Yankees win 120 games and lose in the first round. They're not. This team is too old. Look, what did the Mariners win? 116? Is that right? Or 118? 118? Whatever they won, that was a young Mariners squad. The Yankees are going to get hurt at some point, aren't they? With Judge playing center, I mean, we'll see.
Well, I mean, Jimmy, here's the thing: it doesn't matter if they get hurt. They always lose in the postseason. It's the funniest thing ever. They always find a way to lose. They have a shit manager. You need a good manager in the postseason. Aaron Judge has never hit a clutch home run in his life. He hit his first walk-off home run this year. Are you kidding me? And Giancarlo Stanton closes his eyes and swings and hopes for the best. So, come on.
Let's move on to Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. And I love the extreme takes. I love it. You brought a lot of fun to the NBA Finals, and I imagine that we're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully, I mean, which team in the AL East doesn't make the playoffs, Jose?
The Tampa Bay Rays. I told you this at the beginning of the season. I was very low on the Rays. This year, I had them to the postseason or the World Series champion the year they made it with the Dodgers. I also had the Dodgers that year, so I was rooting for the Rays for futures purposes. But I don't think the Rays get there. But truthfully, Jim, I really do think all four teams make it. But if it is a team, it is going to be the Rays. I think the Red Sox. I know you're not going to like hearing this. I think the Red Sox are better than the Blue Jays. It's just we have unserious baseball players on our fucking team that will make me want to kill myself. Not to be dramatic, but I think the Red Sox and Blue Jays are right there within each other. I think the Yankees are a good regular season team right now. And then it's just the Rays kind of, lagging behind. I do think they'll make it because I think they're better than whoever the second team in the AL Central is. And I said this yesterday, Jim, unfortunately, I think the White Sox are fucked. I think the White Sox are just straight cooked. I think they're just health-wise has not gotten there yet. Lucas Giolito has been one of the bigger disappointments for me this year. I had him to win the Cy Young. Just been shit all year. Lance Lynn, not great. And they're not going to fire Tony La Russa. I'll keep saying this. Maybe it blows up in my face, but Jay Reinsdorf is loyal to a fault. And we saw it with Gar Paxton and the Chicago Bulls. It's the same thing. He wanted to make up for a mistake. He didn't hire him in the 80s or whatever the fuck. He hires him now for some stupid reason, and he's going to ride it out. He's going to ride it out until the end of the season. I would be very surprised if he gets fired midseason. Very surprised.
It looks like it would have already happened. I hope that it does happen. A lot of people asking about the who is the guy that jumped on and gave us that first half over, Trenton Claxton. And he's been doing that on my show since I started with the show. He's just had our back, great capper. And Fireside says Ray's going to get this first 5. Not a great start here, but let's just get out of this inning, get to the bottom of the third, and hopefully second time around, seeing Lauer will hit him because we know the Rays have been hitting lefties. Let's get back to the spot. Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs. We're at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. We're going to start with the weather in Chicago. 76 Fahrenheit, 6.9 miles per hour in. Becomes sort of right to left by the end of the game. It starts in. Move over to line history in this Cubs-Reds spot. Little NL Central action here. We have the Cubs opening up at minus 130. They're now minus 140. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 8 and has moved to 7.5. Let's take a look at the cash in this Cubs-Reds one. We have, here we go, 6,330 tickets in. 61% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on the Chicago Cubs. And Justin Steele. 87% of tickets on the over, but just 63% of the cash is on that over. And a shout out to Trenton Claxton there in the chat. Yeah, BT was he's destroyed WNBA since I started. Hunter Green going up against Justin Steele. Hunter Green's last start, 10-5 loss at home to the Dodgers. It was a start where TJ said in the chat, he said the Dodgers are a gift. TJ said that 5 times this year, and he's 5-0 on those bets. So I think we should all keep an eye out for when TJ says it's a gift. Now 5-0. It was Hunter Green versus Clayton Kershaw start, and I don't know why I was so thick-headed. I just froze like a deer in the headlights, like a moose. And actually, moose don't fuck around. They'll put their antlers through your windshield. Last start, 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 homers. He did not look good. Is this a bounce back start for him? Going up against Justin Steele, who also looked bad in this last start, but it was at Pittsburgh against the worst team. 5 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 which were earned, 2 homers, 8 Ks. We'll go over his splits here in a second. Reds versus lefties, 251, 719 OPS. Cubs versus righties, 245, 706 OPS. Both bullpens terrible. But as Pete talked about yesterday, he believes the Cubs bullpen isn't quite as terrible. Take it away here first. We'll go with Nolly Knows, Reds, Cubs. Lead us in to Jose Bouquet's Say Hey Play of the Day. What do you think here, Nolly?
This is a tough game for me. Looking Hunter Green, been hit or miss throughout the season, and a big part, he's still trying to figure it out. If he doesn't have the slider going, people are sitting dead red on his fastball, and he's pretty much getting lit up. That's what you've seen with the Dodgers last time out, and he's already got hit one time against these Cubs. Gave up 5 earned runs, 7 hits in just 5 innings. So does he make the adjustment? He did against the Milwaukee Brewers when he got hit hard the first time. Made an adjustment, was able to pitch well against them. But for me, it's just hard to trust the youngster right now. And you mentioned Steele, not a guy that I look to back. I mean, I even get surprised when he has a decent start. For me, just not a game I want to get involved with.
Well, let's hear how Jose's getting involved, because I find it tricky too. Jose, take it away here, Reds, Cubs.
Let's plunge into the filth. Let's just get into the fucking dirty shittiness that is this game.
Let's go.
Why is this at a 7.5? Why am I getting a phone call? Decline the phone call. Why is this at a 7.5 total? These are the 2 worst bullpens in baseball. I mean, well, okay, not literally. They're just top 5. If we're going to be literally specific, this month, Cincinnati bullpen, 6.45 ERA, worst in the league. And the Chicago Cubs are 3rd worst, 5.91. Horrible. Why are we giving these guys the benefit of the doubt of a 7.5? No chance. This should be like an 8.5, 9. Steele, not a pitcher that I think is very good. He got lit up by my Pirates the other day, obviously, and I got lit up by my Pirates last night. Shout out to fucking Corbin, that asshole. But I don't think Steele's very good. The Cincinnati Reds, shockingly enough, this will surprise most people that hear this, 4th against lefties this month, 144 weighted runs created plus. And the Cubs, they're middling 15th against righties, 104. That's good enough for me. I understand that Hunter Green can be phenomenal at times, and he does worry me at times when he got his slider and everything working, but if it's not, it's just high speed batting practice. 8-mile-an-hour winds, like you were mentioning, a little worrisome. But you said it kind of shifts. So all that to say is I think both these guys get touched up today, and I think we've got two shitty bullpens that continue the scoring. 7.5, I think, is a ridiculous number. So I took the over -115 for me.
Huh. Very interesting. By the way, Rays got their first runner on in the third inning. Let's just go back to the cash flow in this one. This Cubbies. Here we go. 87% of tickets on the over, but 63% of cash, and it's moved to half run. The market has not scared you all year, and you've reaped the rewards of not showing any fear. So I get it. Slow jams are
also ignorance to the market as well. It helps.
I don't think it's ignorance. You know it. You know what you're dealing with. You're choosing not to. Ignorance is when you're not making a choice. You're just an idiot, and you're choosing not to. You're making a conscious decision not to focus on it. So I don't think it's ignorance. Let's get you this over 7.5 right now. While I'm doing that, please regale us with the record now.
Sure. I had a winning day yesterday, even though I wanted to throw my fucking phone through my wall last night for a variety of reasons. Thankfully, the Colorado Rockies helped us get paid out. Yesterday on the show, someone described the Rockies, what they're doing to the Rocky or what they're doing to the Dodgers, as Pirates-esque. So I obviously had to jump on board with them yesterday. I might jump on board again today. Who knows? It's very funny when I see the Pirates getting thrown out like this. But I'm 242 and through 231, up 14.21 units.
Beautiful.
And today we've got Donnie Rightside joining us for a lovely Wednesday show. As I mention all the times, he's a Pub Sports Radio original. One of the guys that was at Pub Sports Radio when we literally had 0 subscribers when I made the YouTube page with Jeff and all of them. So shout out to Donnie, great guy, great capper, and excited about today. It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, I love Donnie, Team Total's right side. I love watching him cap baseball, football, everything. Say Hey Play today is the over 7.5 -115 at Pinnacle. Another level of danger. Pinnacle giving the best line by far.
Well, at least it's got 115 at Bovada too, so that makes me feel a little better. But you're right; it's all the same. I mean, it's fucking all it's all trash. By the way, you got a little action, Rays there.
But also, we just had a 2-run shot from the Pirates on Esquino.
I should. I don't. Every time they score, I should have bet them, man. It pisses me off. I was on them yesterday. First loss in a while on the Padres, but it happens. It happens.
And Don Mack saying, he's not saying it because he's class act, but Don Mack tried to get us off.
He's a class act. By the way, I don't know if this game has popped off already because I'm just watching Rays Brewers, but
double play on for the Rays.
Yeah, I don't like this Rays lineup. But -300 for the A's today, or against the A's today. I'm not making it official because it's not a late night game. I didn't talk about it here, but I am quietly making a bet against the Yankees. I believe they're playing. Let me double check myself. Yeah, it's the Yankees.
Yeah, it's Yankees. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's Tyone -300. I obviously have to fade him. I decided, and I also decided not yesterday, but the last time that happened, the first A's game, I'll be taking first 5 full games when I'm fading -300s now. Will that hurt me? Maybe. Yes. But I do not want another instance where I have Paul Blackburn. I know he's going to pitch well. He does his thing in the first 5. And then as are these shitty teams going to have, they're all going to have shitty bullpens, and all of them are going to want to blow the games. Like, the Pirates series with the Dodgers, it took David Bednar fucking throwing out his arm at several points to get closing outs there. So at least I could take a first 5 as well. But yeah, that's just all my random bullshit. Sorry.
No, I like it. Jose. Keep up the great work. Up 14 units. Very, very impressive. Donnie Rightside on Say Hey Plays of the day. Catch it 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And you've not missed one day since the regular season started, which is extremely impressive.
No rain, sleet, and hail. And yesterday, I told you yesterday, no car yesterday, Jim. No internet at home. I fucking Ubered to Southtown, did my thing, and Uber back home. It was great, lovely. All the time we grind through. I think today Say Hey Play is 84, so that big 100, is coming.
Yeah,
what are we gonna do for it? I don't know, but it's coming.
It's gonna be a party, man. Festivus. Great work. Great work. Jose Bouquet, Say Hey Play of the day, number 2. The over 7.5 and minus 115. By the way, Oakland has runners on the corners here. All right, let's roll on. And I do miss the Southtown very, very much. Darren Thompson says I'm on the Reds because they're only a game and a half back. They're playing for something in the series. Game and a half back of what? Of last? I mean, does anybody care about being a game?
One last announcement, Jim. I know that you're going to like this announcement. You're going to find yourself very interested, suddenly more interested, a lot more interested, and then, how that goes.
Yeah.
But yes, Foxy Boxing, the strip club boxing is back. Official date is set up already, July 28th. We're fucking back. Me and my friend Cecilia La Chismosa, and by the way, Nolly loves La Chismosa.
Wait, I thought you were La Chismosa.
I'm one of them. Come on, dude.
I'm confused.
No, I'm one of the crew. I'm one of the 210 La Chismosas, obviously.
Okay.
We'll be calling the boxing matches inside of the strip club again, July 28th. If you want to watch, it'll be on Pub Culture Radio live. Obviously, it is a strip club boxing match, so it will come at the strip club boxing hours of 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. We'll be there. It'll be a great time. Obviously, as you guys can see on this lovely poster, there's a twerk contest too and a bikini contest. So if you want to come to Diamond Show Club as well to watch all that, go ahead. But like I said, it'll all be streamed live on Pub Culture Radio, the boxing matches, interviews, all that good stuff. I just want some more magic like this, Jim. That's all I want.
Oh boy, do we call it black?
I knew it. I told you.
That was just her. Come on. Let her get her titty in her shirt before you give her the uppercut. All right, Mike Tyson. I love it. I love it. Shout out to Jose, who will be calling Foxy Boxing. All right, here we go. Next up, we have 2 games left on the card, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers, 45-28, 25-16 on the road. At Colorado Rockies, 33-42, 21-19 at home. Where Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. After that big win yesterday for the Rockies against Clayton Kershaw, let's see what happens here. We're going to start with the weather in Colorado. 93 Fahrenheit, 8.3 miles per hour out to straight away center. Then we'll take a look, and it stays that way. Then we'll take a look at the market here. Opening up minus 180 for the Dodgers, now minus 192. And the total at 11.5. It went down to 11, but it's back at 11.5. All right, let's move over to where the cash lies in Dodgers Rockies here. They have half line value on German Marquez and the Rockies. Has Marquez turned it around? Some of the betting public think so. 11% of the tickets on Colorado and 26% of the cash. 67% of tickets on the under. We don't have a cash line yet. And we remember Urias has had a pretty wild ride when he's pitched at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, and we'll pull those stats up as well. Here we go. Urias, Marquez. Urias last start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 9 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-1 win at the Braves. That's a Braves team that's smashing lefties. Could not get to Urias. He's been very good this year. 5-6 record. It's crazy. If you think of the offense he's got backing him in a 2.4 ERA, 1.01 whip, 71 Ks, and 76 in the third. Has allowed 12 home runs. But I thought that second start against the Phillies back-to-back in Philadelphia showed the character that Urias has. Marquez coming off a great start in a 1-0 win at Minnesota, 7 2/3, 3 hits, no one runs, 2 Ks, 5 walks. But, 5.58 ERA, 1.50 whip, staring at everybody. But it'd be nice if Marquez could turn it around. Dodgers just righties, 254, 765 OPS. They smash them, but not as much as the Rockies smashed lefties, 298, 818 OPS. Dodgers bullpen, 3.30 ERA, 1.313 whip, 19 and 27 converted save opportunities. Rockies bullpen, 4.70 ERA, 1.37 whip, converted 20 of 26. Moose Money says Rockies versus lefties at home. Take it away. We love hearing you talk about your ball club. Dodgers, Rockies, Nolly.
Yeah, this one, I'll be honest, it's tough to even talk about. Even I'm gonna be quoting even Dave Roberts. He goes, why we get beat up by the Rockies in Colorado? Simply, I just can't figure it out. And here, I think it's a bad spot, difficult spot for Urias as well. You looked at the last few starts against Colorado. Out of the last 4, he's only really had one good start. Gave up four or more in most of the starts. Last few times in Colorado really get lit up. Last year on July 16th, went 5 2/3, gave up 4 earned runs. And earlier this year was unable to get out of the 3rd inning, giving up 6 runs, but only 3 of them earned runs, but still giving up a lot of hits. And so definitely a big red flag when I look at this game and you talk about the Dodgers and really how they haven't really been producing as much offensively. Maybe they do get it right here against the righty and German Marquez. They've been able to get, they've been able to get it to him in the past. And so maybe something that we see here today, but I tell you, it's kind of tough to trust the Dodgers and backing Urias, albeit he has had a really good month and has looked really good recently. But to me, it's a tough spot going on the road to Colorado. I want to preach to you how difficult it is to sweep a team, but the Dodgers have been swept like 3 times this year already. And so honestly, this is a bad spot. And it's tough for me to try to back the Dodgers. So obviously I'm not going to bet against them. I don't really do that much. But yeah, I'm ultimately off the game. But yeah, bad spot, I think.
If you could pick a team to have your number in the NL West, this would be the team you'd pick. I mean, the last thing you want are any of your real rivals having your number. So I mean, this is just kind of a strange occurrence here. I can understand why you are concerned backing Urias here. Can you remind me of Urias' wild ride at Coors? Didn't he get just destroyed last year in Colorado, or am I remembering it wrong? Do you remember what his story is in Colorado?
Well, overall, the last 2 starts, he got lit up. But actually, his first start last year in Colorado was actually a good start. I'm having trouble pulling it up right now. Oh, here we go. First start in Colorado was actually the first start of the year for him. He actually went 7 innings, 1 earned run. But the 2 starts after that, he got completely lit up. And that's what I'm focused on a little bit more because that's a little bit more recent. And also, even at home, he pitched against Colorado a month after that at home and got hit hard, going 5 innings, 4 earned runs. So ultimately, they have seen him a lot and they have hit him pretty well. So ultimately, it's hard for me to trust him here.
Yeah, understandably so. Okay, let's move on to the final game on the card. Before we get into a WNBA best bet from our man Parlay Teece, we're talking 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Chicago White Sox 35-38, 19-17 on the road at the LA Angels 36-41, 20-23 home. Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Now, the last time Pistol Pete was on the show, he talked about the issues that Kopech was having. And Kopech did not look good in that 4-1 loss at home versus the Orioles last out. I mean, I shouldn't be hard. That was a quality start. I guess it's not because it more than 3 walks. But 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 2 Ks, 4 walks, and a 4-1 loss at home versus the Orioles. Kopech, though, great numbers. If you forget about these last 2 starts, I mean, he's been spectacular. But 2.59 ERA, 1.01 WHIP, going up against Shohei Ohtani. So let's start with the weather in Los Angeles. We'll go there and then we'll move around. The weather in Los Angeles, 77 Fahrenheit, 8.7 miles per hour out to straightaway center, and it stays that way. It goes down to about 7. And we'll take a look at the line history in this White Sox Angels spot here, Kopech versus Ohtani. And we have a 30-cent move to the Angels. It was 35 cents, and it's now sitting. Oh, Jesus, no, it's moved even more. It's now minus 200. So it's a 50-cent move since the opening line. Wow, that is a real Ohtani tax today. The total opened up at 7.5, minus 115 to the over. It's now minus 120 to the over. 50-cent move to Ohtani. Let's see if the cash follows suit. 83% of the tickets, but 73% of the cash. Then 59% of tickets on the over and 83% of cash on the over, but it's not really moving towards the over. All right. Ohtani, last start was a thing of beauty. 5-0 win at home versus the Royals. He went 8 innings, allowed 2 hits, no earned runs, 13 Ks, and 1 walk. White Sox rating just 243, 657 OPS versus Reds, while the Angels 247, 27 OPS. And both bullpens have been disappointing. But we thought the White Sox bullpen was going to be very good at the beginning of the year. They have not shown that. 4.21 ERA, 1.36 whip, converted 22 of 36. Last game on the board, we are in Anaheim, California for this one. Take it away, Nolly. White Sox, Angels.
Yeah, you talk about Shohei Ohtani. He's really been the stopper for this team. It's exciting to watch. And I think something that's crazy to see, me as a baseball fan, I think in the year that we see it's capable of doing both things, both pitch and hit, is the year that they take away the DH. To me, I don't like it. I dislike it a lot. It changes the game, and they continue to change the game. But we'll leave that conversation for another time. Michael Kopech on the mound for the White Sox, and yeah, you mentioned he's looked really good. And more what I look at in this game is how bad the Angels have been against right-handed pitching as of late. And so I'd expect him to be able to pitch well. They've been striking out at a high rate, albeit Kopech, not a huge strikeout guy, hasn't been getting a lot of strikeouts recently, but had a nice outing recently against Baltimore, going 6 and getting 3 earned runs. So a quality start there. And I'd expect him to build on that going against the Angels. And Shohei Ohtani, he keeps going deep. He keeps looking better and better out there, going 8 innings last time out against the Royals. He's pitched well against a good hitting Boston team. And so I'd expect him to have a decent outing against the White Sox, who haven't been hitting the righties either. So to me, I'd be looking at the full game under here. I'd understand the bullpens. I understand the concern for the bullpens. But in my opinion, I'd expect both guys to go deep, at least give you 6 or 7 each. So not a huge concern for the bullpens there.
Are you going to make anything official on the spot?
No, I haven't moved on the game. I've been debating it. The weather is a little bit cooler today than it has been the last couple of days. So that's something encouraging for me for the total. But yeah, right now I'm gonna stay off right now, but it might ultimately be a play.
Viper saying this line's inflated. Lean White Sox first 5, but they have too many problems to back, so a pass. Lee Davis says Kopech struggling in June. Dave Redling looking at Ohtani strikeouts and total base prop. Matt Paulin says I like the Angels, but no value. And Matt Paulin also says 9 in a row Dodgers have failed to cover the run line at Coors. Rockies have won 7 straight as underdogs. Okay, that is your MLB card. Let's break down. We could be off to a very poor. So we're going to be off to a poor start. It's fucking 2-2 now in Pittsburgh, Washington. I guess the going up against that market move is not something I've been doing. And I tried to explain the market move saying it was, because of the weakness of the bullpens. That makes me a little upset here. We're going to need a big bottom of the 4th so that this day doesn't get off to a shit start. Okay, so 1:10 p.m. Eastern, Astros, Mets, nothing. 2:10 p.m. Rangers, Royals. We stayed off that. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is on the Padres. I'm adding the full game under in Detroit, San Francisco. Nolly's on the Tigers first 5, money line at plus 178. I'm on the first 5 plus a half at plus 105. And again, you guys hear me often say I'll never turn a dog into a favorite. If I think there's going to be low volatility, I'll take the plus a half. But I've gone over all the times I've done that. And only once did it cash because I was on the plus a half. So it would have been better off if I just had the balls to take the money line so far this year. But it's the small sample size. Then Orioles, Mariners, we stayed off. I have interest in the Phillies first 5, but it doesn't all correlate. I just feel like Suarez is pitching better, and we've seen lefties on top of their game. And I believe Urias is the last example to be able to shut down the Braves. And maybe saying that Suarez is on top of his game is a mistake. So I'm going to spend more time there. I'm already on the first 5 over 4.5. And the taint play today is the Braves team total over 4.5. I'm on the Boston, Toronto first 5 under 4.5, and the Blue Jays first 5 minus a half. Twins, Guardians, we stayed off. Say hey play of the day is the Marlins first 5 minus a half at plus 115. And Nolly's on the under 8 at minus 105 in Miami, St. Louis. Say hey, play today number 2 is the over 7.5 at -115 in Cincinnati, Chicago. Dodgers, Rockies, we stayed off, and White Sox, Angels, we stayed off. Nolly, it is great to rock with you. And, you started off 8-3, and then you had the 1 day slip up, which we know happens. Nothing to worry about. Still, overall, you are looking good on the show with an ROI just under 10%. Let's keep the winners rolling in, my man. Thank you for rocking with us. Please follow Nolly on Twitter at Nolly Knows. Great capper, a lot of fun to follow. Nolly, any last words for the cappers here supporting the show, my man?
Oh, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the valuable information. Lots of great guys in the chat. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And until next time.
Till next time. There he is. Nolly Knows. Into the Long Beach, California early morning. There he goes. Let's move on to WNBA and bring in our WNBA expert off of a rare loss here on the show yesterday. Dream first quarter plus 2.5. They got beat up pretty badly in that game. But you're as good as your record says you are, not how you did yesterday. 6-3, 66.7% plus 2.71 units, ROI plus 30.11%, average line -108. Still looking very strong here on the show. Please welcome from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Parlay Teece in the house. Teece, how are you, my man?
I'm good. What's going on, Jimmy? How you doing, low baggers?
We are all, well, I should slow down a little bit. I'm going to need the Rays to have a bottom of the 4th or 5th here to take care of business. But let's talk WNBA. 10 p.m. Eastern is the game you are focusing on. Indiana Fever at Phoenix Mercury. The Fever 5-15, 2-8 on the road against the Mercury 8-12, 4-4 at home. There's been a ton of roster issues for the Mercury, and some expected, some unexpected. But we're at Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, and there's still time for them to turn their season around. Let's do a quick line history here and see what the move would be. Indiana, Phoenix. So the Fever open up at plus 7.5. I've got no movement. I'm just going to double check that because this is a not being updating here. So let me just quickly check this here and see if there is, in fact, being no line movement. Oh God, sorry, I'm on in play now. Jesus, how did this? Sorry, what a mess. Sorry, everything got too many windows open as well. Okay, here we go. Do we have? Yes, there has been a half-point move towards the Fever. They're now at plus 7. This total opened up at 165.5, went all the way up to 167, and has now come back to 165.5. That is the situation. Here we go, Teece. Fever Mercury. How do we get paid?
Well, first off, I wish I could get up early and would have been the first one on and gave everybody the sky, because that was a really good play today. So hopefully that stays on course. As far as this game goes, I'm a big supporter of the Mercury. I really like how that locker room's transitioning after Tina Charles, and I was on them the other night when they beat up the Fever, and I'm really hoping that they turn the page on all the stuff going on with BG and can get past the issues with that and realize that they have a season, and the best way to commemorate and support BGs to win games. So I'm happy about what's going on in that locker room, but at the same time, I cannot get behind them tonight. And first off, man, the Dream are terrible. I just wanted to say that. I should have said that yesterday, or should have said. Yeah, sorry. Okay. But anyway, Mercury. I can't get behind it. I took the Fever last night 7.5, and this is one of those situations where in the WNBA they have a lot of games that go back to back. So on Monday, these two teams played, and the Mercury won by 12, I believe. So, as far as the history of the WNBA, like how these games go, when they play back-to-backs, the script flips. Like any handicapper, you cannot handicap these games just because your numbers aren't going to tell you the truth of what's going to happen tonight. So I have to go by Just my personal experience, and I've got to take the Fever, even though numbers don't tell me to take the Fever, and everything going on with Phoenix might not support what I'm saying right now. But just as far as history goes and the way these back-to-backs unfold, the Fever have to be the play tonight. The Mercury are averaging 86 points per game. The Fever are averaging 81. Which you would say, like, how the hell the Fever? I mean, the Fever are averaging 81. They can't score. But I really expect Kelsey Mitchell to step up tonight, and I even sprinkled a little bit on the money line just because it's a back-to-back, and I got like plus I think 280 or something. I forget what I got, but it was plus 250, something crazy. But not much, just a quarter unit. So I took the Fever, and that's the only play that I can recommend here, just because of the fact that it's a back-to-back. I mean, I really don't have much to say that can support that. If you look at the schedule this year and go back to all the back-to-backs, you'll see what I'm talking about. One is earlier in the season, the Wings played the Connecticut Sun, and Wings going in big underdogs, ended up blowing the Sun out. And the first night they blew the Sun out, and the next night they lost to the Sun. So it's just how it goes in the WNBA. So I've got to go with my numbers and back the Fever at plus 7.5 and plus 6.5. I'd even take it.
It has moved to 6.5 at Pinnacle, but there's still 7s that are widely available at minus 110. That's what we have given you. The Fever plus 7 at minus 110 for our man Teece. And you can catch his entire show today at 4 p.m. Eastern, just before the daily sesh. Teece will be breaking down the entire WNBA card, and follow him on Twitter at Parlay Teece. Teece, we love having the show end with you, giving us a best bet. Thank you for doing it with us. We love it very much. Any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
No, I let you guys down last night. Hopefully we can get that money back tonight. That's cash. That's the only thing I can say is that's cash, and I should be back on either tomorrow or Friday. There's one game this week, Thursday or Friday, I can't remember, but that day I won't be on. You'll have to watch what we got next. But next game I'll be here, or next.
Sounds great.
Next games.
We love having you. There he is at Parlay Teece, 6-3 on the show, looking to cash a winner with us on the Fever plus 7. There is Sun Dizzle in the house. Says, I'm glad I got to catch Teece in his bandana. Sun Dizzle got to see Teece in his bandana live and in person here. And Real Deal Prime says, you bring us sunshine, Teece, every time. That's from Real Deal Prime. That is our show for today. Tuesday did not get off to a good start. So did not get the week off to a good start. So let's turn that around Wednesday. But to do so, we're going to need a bottom of the fourth here from the Tampa Bay Rays. That Pitt Washington. Look, I mean, we haven't lost it yet. They still need 2 more runs in that one. So it's not over. Lee Davis says, think I got to take a shot with these Rangers again. Let's review all action here in MLB. So we're not looking good with Rays first 5, but we still got time there. We're not looking good on the first 5 under 5 in Pittsburgh, Washington. That's just that's how things have started out. Astros Mets, we've stayed off. That game is 0-0 after 2, although both teams threatened in the first. Rangers, Royals, Dunning, Greinke, I stayed off. Spreadsheet play today is the Padres. Looks like I'm adding one bet. That'd be the Tigers, Giants full game under. Tigers first 5 plus a half at 105. I've already bet. Nolly's on the money line at plus 178. Orioles, Mariners, we are off. I have interest in backing the Phillies first 5. It's a possibility that ends up on my card. Danzo, Colorado minus 1.5 plus 295. Big baller play today. Danzo been eating. Those Rockies been feeding the fam over there, Danzo. I love it. Taint play of the day is Atlanta. Team total over 4.5 minus 115. I love that because I'm already on the Atlanta, Philadelphia first 5 over 4.5. I just don't know if I have the balls to add the Phillies first 5 against a team that's 262, 809 OPS versus lefties. I'm not sure. I'm going to need more time to study that one. I'm on Boston, Toronto first 5 under 4.5, and the Blue Jays first 5 minus a half at minus 120. Minnesota, Cleveland, no action. Say hey, play of the day number 1. Marlins first 5 -1/2 at +115. Nolly's on the under 8 in that game at -105. Say hey, play of the day number 2. The over 7.5 in Reds, Cubs. And then no action on the 2 late games, the one in Colorado and the one in Los Angeles. Sun Dizzle says there's a player prop that Greinke does something weird. No, we don't know if there is a player prop, but he's a strange dude. He's a strange dude.
One of my life goals is to see Sun Dizzle perform live and in theater.
You will get that opportunity. I know that you will get that opportunity. He is a.
Some people say that me and Sonny look alike, especially here.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that statement. No, but we'll be back in San Antonio, man. We got more. Maybe we bring him down for some of our tailgating experience.
I think Sun Dizzle would be a pig in shit there. I think that would be a perfect place for Sun Dizzle. Now that you mention it,
I think you're right. I'm going to reach out to him.
I know Sun Dizzle has those jerseys. I'm sure he'll go find a Baylor jersey or whatever. Yeah, I can understand that. And Jimmy, by the way, if you do wear that Baylor jersey like you plan to, I will fight you right then and there. There will be hands. I'm going to be a volatile human that day.
Yes, we're going to be Oklahoma State Baylor, and I will be in full Baylor regalia, including Baylor face paint. So get ready for it. There you have it. That's our show for today. Look at those. It looks like you've been training all morning.
Yeah, I've been sweating my dick off because this thing is hot as shit. And yeah, I did. And Razor is right, by the way. I did reverse it so I could see the other side. So you guys see the other side, it's whatever. It's reversible.
That's cool. That's very kind of you. We prefer the other side. We prefer.
All right, hold on. Then I'll be back in a second.
Okay. There you have it. That is our show for the day. The good thing is he does turn off the camera, so I can't see those milky tits at work, which is very good of him. AOD says Jose's milky arm's gonna swing. Yeah, I foot stomp and then I stab. So it starts really soft and funny, and then it ends bloody. So we'll see what happens when Jose and I go to town. There you have it. That is our show for today. We'll let Jose as Lamb Chop finish this one for us, please.
I have a new nickname. I like it.
Yeah, Lamb Chop.
I've never had a Lamb Chop either before.
Tell me, D. Jenkins. I need it so badly.
Man on first and second with 1 out, and everyone's favorite man, G-Man Choi on the plate. Strike 1. So, Jimmy, why don't we ride this out today, huh? We ride this out. Why don't we watch a G-Man Choi at bat together, huh, Jim? Arm in arm. He's hitting 500 against lefties. I'm watching him right now. He's got a round face. He looks as beautiful as ever. This is it right here, Jim. This is for all the money.
All right, will you do the play-by-play for us? Because
buddy, let me tell you, I'll play-by-play the hell out of it as ball 1 actually comes on pitch 2 outside 1-1. Eric Lauer looking mighty fine today, Jim, and I will admit that is not something I expected either. But I do not cap the morning games because it's a lot of games to cap. But it is going to be a fun game to show for sure. The pitch is coming in from Eric Lauer. Ball 2, and they steal third. Oh, Randy steals third successfully. Randy,
let's go.
No fucks given. Slid right into the third baseman. It looks like he's hurt, but he'll probably be fine. So Randy Arozarena at third. The guy at first goes to second. So all we need is a pop fly from G-Man Choi.
Not a pop fly. A pop fly won't be enough.
All we need is a sac fly from G-Man Choi. And we will have at least a push. I want
more.
A single scores 2. I'll say this. I don't know who's at second base because we keep seeing a Randy Arozarena going into the third baseman's leg. I think that's Mike Brasso. So a pair of former Rays in the infield today, Mike Brasso and Adames. So a lot of shit talker, By the way, Sun Dizzle loves my play-by-play. Thank you, Sun Dizzle. I appreciate you. Again, Sun Dizzle, just let me know when you're coming to the Americas, and I will be there. I cannot wait for sure. 2-1 count. So this is a G-Man Choi count here.
Come on, G-Man. He's just raking these days against lefties.
Yes, I'm excited. By the way, Molly the dog is knocking at my door right now. Ball 3. We're about to have a bases loaded situation right now.
That makes me a
3-1?
little more nervous. I hate when the double plays in business here.
I'll tell you, G-Man Choi is not a fast man. Not a fast
No,
man.
but it'll be Walls. Walls a little tough to double up.
Let's see. Let us see here. G-Man Choi. I feel the power coming from G-Man Choi here. I can feel it. 3-1 or no, it should be 3-1.
3-2.
3-2. Oh, you're ahead of me then. Here we go. Yep, he swung at ball 4, so now it's 3-2. Yeah, he swung at an inside pitch, ball 4. He was trying to hit the home run there for you, Jim. That was a I'm swinging no matter what swing, and now we've got a lovely close-up shot of Taylor Walls coming up next. Taylor Walls, a good prospect in his own right.
He's tough to double up.
He's a good prospect in his own right. All right, 3-2 pitch. Hands are sweaty. Let us find out what happens. Is G-Man Choi the savior? The pitch. Strike 3 right down the fucking dick. G-Man Choi. Disappointing. Well, Jim, I don't want to keep you here too long.
Thanks for that.
No
Thanks
problem. I just wanted hope and success, but
I know you did.
Remember, let's just not forget what's most important in this world, Jim. Foxy Boxing, July 28th, baby. July 28th. Come out.
I don't know if Jose's seen, or sorry, if Sonny's seen the titty come out in the cheap shot. Let's fire it up.
Sonny.
Oh boy, do we call it black?
I knew it. I told you.
Oh!
The cheapest shot I ever seen ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna for sure interview both individuals. Oh, base hit. There we go. There's two. Taylor Walls. We're back in it, baby. We're back in it. Let's go.
Let's fuck Taylor Walls hitting 164
yes.
with a 514 OPS. He takes care of business.
Yes,
and
I think it was a dinky fly ball that just dropped.
She's just trying to get her titty back in her shirt. She can't do it. She's got boxing gloves on. So
she can't.
So the ref is there to help her get her titty back in her shirt.
As he does with all the women. Ass and titties.
And an uppercut. I got to see it one more time. Just my blood's boiling.
It's disgusting, Jim. It's truly disgusting. And here's my promise to you, Jim.
Yeah.
I will interview both parties on July 28th. I will interview both parties and I will ask them what happened and then how they feel about it now. Maybe we'll even get a rematch. Who knows?
Oh boy, do we call it black?
I knew it. I told you.
Oh!
I think my favorite part about it is that she really gears up and really goes back.
Yeah.
She was getting her ass kicked the whole fight, and she just said, "You know what? It's my time to shine. I'm gonna break a rib right here." And she tried. She definitely tried.
Yeah.
But again, Jim, I'll tell you, she gets knocked out later in that fight. Doesn't stop her from fighting the next 2 rounds. Doesn't stop her from getting back on the pole 10 minutes later. That's why we love the women of Foxy Boxing. That's why we do it, for the love of the game, for the fucking competitive sport, and for the money being thrown.
Damn, Sun Dizzle, that hurts. Sun Dizzle says that if either of our junk came out of our trunk, he would have done the same thing. He would just fire away.
Right at the junk or at our chesties. That would be tough.
See, that I'm the difference.
Junk shot?
If Jose's junk comes out, I quit. I walk out of the ring and quit. That's how I would have handled it.
Okay, so now I know what to do. If things get out of hand at Oklahoma State, Baylor, if I'm getting my ass kicked too much, I'll just flash my dick and just run. And then
I won't run, but I'll quit.
Okay, fair's fair.
All right.
By the way, quick question.
Rem wants to watch that whole fight.
The whole fight is available. It is available on Pub Culture TV on YouTube right now. It is our sister channel, Pub Culture TV, not Pub Culture Radio anymore. I'll try to find the link while Jimmy puts a bow on this bitch. But yes, the whole fight is there. This was our first time at the event. So the quality might not always be the best, as strip club Wi-Fi, it turns out, not the best. But this next time, I think I'm going to bring a camera as well to make the shot clearer, and it'll be a great time. But I will bring that video right now.
I love it. I love it. There he is, Jose Zenyatta Bouquet.
Lamb chop bouquet.
Lamb chop. I was looking for it, but I couldn't get it. That's our show for today. Saturated says if the world has space for chess boxing and slap contests, there's got to be a place for a PSR titty punching league. I think you're absolutely right. Thank you guys so much. We have wild afternoon action on right now. Let's get that fucking cash, man. We need Sean Armstrong to take us home here. Yell up first. We're watching this very closely. Full fight right there. Thank you guys all so much for your support.
Too, by the way.
An enormous thank you to the cappers in the chat that were, putting money towards Pop Sports Radio's future. It meant a ton to us. Jason Meyer, 500 beers. That was unbelievable. 100 beers, $500. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And then our guy Schnizzle started that dono train with $19.99 dono, and then Eldorado Custodian drops $100 on it. Then Don't Ask, Don't Tail drops another $50 on it. It means a ton to us because this is what we want to do, and this is the company we want to do it for. So it means a ton. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let's get that fucking cash. Oh, a 2-0 count already to Yelich. Let's get that cash. Jose, can you leche us into the future?
Well, first of all, I think it's been a while since we saw one of these.
Oh, I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
No, I actually did drop that yesterday when I was producing on my own.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, well, I missed it, so it doesn't count. So hold on.
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
Okay, thank you. My computer seemingly is about to explode right now, but we're going to do great jobs here today. A lot of great plays. Say Hey plays at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern. The Balking Dead today with Sharpie, a beast of MLB capper. I'll say it, no fear at all. Better MLB capper than me. Those prop markets, he dominates. So go watch his show as well. Teece, the WNBA, he dominates it. Love his hair. Did he ever explain why he dyed his hair? Oh no!
No, we don't. Men don't ask other men those questions.
Well, I'll ask Teece. Teece, why did you dye your hair? Just out of curiosity, would love to know. But you got the WNBA show later today, and like I said, me and Donnie ride side. Let's go get these bookies, guys. I need it. We need it. And Jim, you still have not caught me in MLB yet, and that's all the motivation. I need to be a winning capper. Leche, a los bookmaker.
Oh boy, do we call it black?
I knew it. I told you.